gotta leave it to the professionals.
Blessed by Gandhi, blah, blah, blah.
Started off with a bit, now I got coin. I see where y'all going. Been poppin' since Web 1, hella hooked on Web 2. I was living a dream, now I'm on Web 3. And it is what it seems, topping the pyramid schemes, I'm telling you. I'll sell you a percentage on Nebula. Shout out to Vince, he'll set it up.
Surfing on the web and I'm shooting at 3. I've been golden when I got my G. I'm an alien boy from a different planet, yeah. So I got my drink, I'm riding in the 1920s Model T Ford. Call her Era Lord. Call me Levi, playing on the keys, boy. And I'm about to put my gloves on. If I said it, then I meant that. Yeah, I like that one, I'm about to get that. Crash that whip for the drumsticks, whiplash. I'm about to get them all. Are you with that? In a white boat, surrounded by blue. I want one, but I got a cop too. I wanna fly high in the sky, arms out wide, trying to soar from a bird's eye view. I'm on fire, Ricky, Bobby, cracking the pavement, Whitney, Bobby. I'm a Saki bomb, Hiroshima, Nagasaki. Bruce Wayne been a dog, and I keep it 101, cause I'm feeling kinda spotty. You sipping on some rock, and I'm sipping on octane. The only thing around my neck is the
Started off with a
blockchain.
bit, now I got coin. I see where y'all going. Been poppin' since Web 1, hella hooked on Web 2. I was living a dream, now I'm on Web 3. And it is what it seems, topping the pyramid schemes, I'm telling you. I'll sell you a percentage on Nebula. Shout out to Vince, he'll set it up.
NFT, Twitter, blockchain. Seeing with the ghosts and we ballin' like LeBron James. Crypto. We can make a trade, get the memo. The field's not falling for the FOMO. Listening to Coffee with Captain. You know we worldwide, they loco. I ain't never gonna stop rapping. Orlando, yeah, we working magic. We rocking Ethereum entities. I just went and caught me a half base. Man, I gotta shout out
Started
the
off with a
boy.
bit, now I got coin. I see where y'all going. Been poppin' since Web 1, hella hooked on Web 2. I was living a dream, now I'm on Web 3. And it is what it seems, topping the pyramid schemes, I'm telling you. I'll sell you a percentage on Nebula. Shout out to Vince, he'll set it up.
Breaking the mood to choose one, but they got knowledge to move, son. I'm shocking in shades with my brother in shoes. Yeah, them blues is coming. Even though it's hard to pick, eeny, mighty, mo, soda on the mix, no biting lips, it's time to go. Index number 1, no thumbs up, you gotta scroll. Looking at the ghost in studio, it's time to go. I had a helmet on by myself until I met a mask that wanted to have a face off. So I had to bring my chainsaw, full tank of gas in the ride with my brakes off. I'm A1, but a different kind of steak sauce.
Welcome to Coffee with Captain, powered by ApeCoin, where we dive into all things crypto, NFTs, Web3, and cutting-edge technology. Remember, nothing here is financial advice. Early-stage tech can be exceptionally volatile and risky. So grab your coffee and join Cap and Steve for today's conversation.
Welcome to the future.
Welcome to Coffee with Captain GM. Thanks so much for joining us. If you already done so, just favorite, drops a GM in the chat down below, then head up top, smash that like, repost, and bookmark on today's space. We greatly appreciate it. Warms up the algo and does us a real solid. You know what else does us real solid is those big newt tips over in the abstract chat. Appreciate you, Be Epic, and all of our chatters. 69 Pingu does go a long way this morning. You can ask Steve. My jaw dropped once again. I don't check the Pingu chart. I do log into abstract Monday through Friday. And once again, like literally had to pick my jaw up off the desk after I saw my abstract global wallet, which apparently only goes up only. That's a good feature. Good tech. Up only is good tech. I do appreciate it. But in all seriousness, I'm Captain, my co-host Steve. No financial advice in this show. Crypto is risky, NFTs risky, meme coins exceptionally risky, and go to zero to moment. So except for Pingu and Newt, anything else you tip me over in the abstract chat. But please don't put any money you can't afford to lose. Know that Steve and I will hold tokens we'll talk about from time to time, including Pingu and Ape and everything else we're going to talk about today. So please don't take us serious. We are not financial advisors, certainly not your financial advisors, just here for some fun information and education along the way. GM Steve, how you doing, sir?
GM, yeah, Pengu is on an absolute cooker right now.
Jesus.
I mean, I don't know. It's probably
You
recent.
hit it. It's going to be the coin of the cycle, I think. Also, real quick, like, can we just jump into it? Like, talk Pingu. I really want to have the brand coin conversation. Maybe it's the title, but did you see what I posted in the chat last night from my normie friend?
No, I didn't.
In the war room.
No,
Dude,
I missed it. Tell me.
I have a normie friend, one of my best friends. So one of the people like I got in 2021. I knew he was a fan of MCU, Marvel Universe, and comics, and so like Punk Comic I think was maybe his first NFT minute. No, he did get into some Top Shot stuff, right? Like, is actually one of our mutual friends is who got me into Top Shot. It was like a group chat with the three of us. Our other mutual friend was in first, ran up like a 6-figure account in Top Shot, no longer in the space. I ended up getting in there, and then I became the one that of the three of us that became, you know, the NFT bull per se. Anyways, outside of Top Shot, the next he like was just like skeptical. The first one he got was Punk's Comic. Ended up doing well in that. He registered a couple DNS domains after I told him to, because I knew he was into domains. And I was like, hey man, you should go get at least your website, your main names. He did. Later got like I think it was a 5-figure airdrop off that ENS claim.
The first big one that I remember. Yeah.
Yep. And long story short, just hasn't been active. Got burnt by, like many of us did during the bubble, and left. Right. Normal. And so like is one that I just still talk like Bitcoin, ETH, hype, etc. He's traveling, and we were having a conversation about loyalty programs, right? Because we were talking about we own a property together in Columbus, Victorian Village, and that's his core business. He owns dozens of properties on Ohio State's campus. Actually, he's done very well for himself, and I'm looking. I've kind of mentioned on here in passing. I'm exploring some opportunities in this market. It's just very opportunistic right now. Not to go off on a retail or a real estate tangent, but
you want to open a pizza shop. You want to open a pizza shop.
I mean, maybe there's a lot of opportunity due to market conditions down here. Like if you look at, I'm not even kidding, not this actual part of the state, but Cape Coral is the worst real estate market in the country, and it's not even close. There's something like 1,200 homes on the market. They're priced well below what they were bought at, and they're building more. The reason they're getting crushed is the hurricanes, like the hurricane, the insurance, the flood insurance.
Because you've had like 2 years in a row or something where you guys like after there was like never, right?
These are like 1 in 100-year storms, right? And so like it's normal. Like Cape Coral's like Miami area. They're used to getting hit with hurricanes. Like it's somewhat normal down there, but it's worse than ever before. So you got to keep in mind too. There's a lot of people down here that they're retired. This is like their second home, and they go from something that maybe was paid off, and now all of a sudden they're looking at extreme hikes in home insurance and flood insurance, and they got to remodel their house. And it's like, is it worth it? So like a good chunk of the listings you see, not even exaggerating, it'll be like the drywall is taken out below my TV here. Like the bottom 6 feet is just studs because they've done like the first step of remediation following the flooding and not done any remodeling yet. There's a lot of homes on the market in this area. Down in Cape Coral, it's even worse. But in this area, so long story short, the market's flooded with those homes. The interest rates are crazy. Like there's already like real estate bubbles throughout the US, even without the flood and the hurricane stuff. And in like the Tampa area in particular, it really hasn't been had a direct hit of hurricane in over 100 years. And in 2 years in a row, this area got hit pretty hard. And so now all these people are freaking out. And it's just led to opportunistic. Anyways, long story short, we were talking, and I'm probably going to do something, maybe business, maybe a few investment properties. I'm actually at a point, like I'm probably going to go, like I may just go like live in a fixer upper for a year and then flip it or rent it out. But anyways, I'd like to do something on chain. I don't know what. I know most of the on-chain real estate stuff has failed, and I don't even know exactly what it would be. And maybe, Steve, I might even do anything on chain. I may just start with some people here. Like I was talking to him, I was like, I know some, I have some friends, some crypto whales who they have property all over the world. And, they're, like we're just talking about like, what would a model look like that would be attractive to them? And we're going back and forth. And we get into the discussion of like, he's like, oh, dude, you should just do like a, they love getting, lock in 8% interest or something like that and do a balloon and get them their money back in 24 or 36 months. And you should have a deal. I'm like not in this world. Like, and I got into like you can get 10% plus on stables right now. And I said risk-free. And he's like, risk-free. Like, and he sent back along and he's like, that's impossible. He's like, there's got to be risk. It's like, yes, there's protocol risk, there's smart contract risk. Absolutely. Is it riskier than T-bills with the US government? Sure. It's not FDIC insured, but you're talking about multi-billion dollar protocols. The money's on chain. You can see it. It's transparent. There is still some risk, but most of these crypto whales, they created their wealth in DeFi. Like this is like getting 10% yield on stables is as close to risk-free as they probably, I believe most of them would consider that far less risky than real estate. And then further, I started saying it's not just that they can earn better yield on stables in crypto. with the risk really being the US dollar. I saw yesterday US dollar is down over 10% year to date, while the ruble is up 40% year to date. I'm like, who's building the ruble stablecoin? That's what we need right now. And some people took offense to it. I think it wasn't a political statement. It was purely math. Anyways, I digress. We're talking, like this is the idea of not just matching better return on stables here than you can get in most traditional markets like real estate. It's that and the allure of rewards, user incentive rewards. And I actually use the example, like you remember when you registered a couple domains and got a 5-figure airdrop? I go, imagine that, except instead of just buying a couple domains for $100 or so, you actually had 6 or 7 figures of liquidity parked on one of these protocols. Imagine that, right? They get their 10% and then they're also holding out for a 5, 6, in some cases 7-figure airdrop. Like it's just, this is someone who's done extremely well for himself. A finance major at Ohio State. He's built, a multi-million-dollar portfolio, done very, very, very well. And it's like, I still struggle to explain DeFi, the powers of it, these next generation loyalty reward programs. And then I kid you not, he sends me a text last night. Let me see if I can pull it up on screen here. I don't have it on a tab, but the TLDR is he's at a restaurant traveling in Denver, him and his wife. And guess what his server pitched him, Steve?
What's that?
The equivalent of a brand coin. Basically, it was like he bought rec drinks while he was out to dinner. He and his wife got $90 back because they activated an account and it gave them the $fly. They were at Blackbird, and I believe.
Yeah, Blackbird. Yeah. I mean, that's like it's built on Base. It's a major loyalty program that is. I didn't know they were in Denver. I thought they were in New York. But yeah, I mean, that's like a major loyalty program that's being built out on chain. It's like it's pretty clunky out the gate, but yeah.
So how he described it, and I don't know. I'm trying to see how I can pull this up without pulling up my actual text message.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you probably are gonna struggle to do that.
Yeah. Anyways, it's like his exact text to me. He sends a few screenshots, and it's like Blackbird. Here's $20 a fly on us. Spend it anywhere. He says crypto ? And then he shows me his wallet, which has $4,500 balance in it. Add a payment method. Spend $10, earn 10,000 fly. Refer 3 friends, get 10,000 fly. He said server just suggested this. And we get free $45 for trying it. He suggested Jamie and I both do it. So it's a free $90. So very similar to someone like going into 7-Eleven and buying a case of rec drinks and getting, spending $10 and getting $20 back. Here, now they probably spent more than $90 on dinner. But let's just say they spent $90 on dinner. Their server suggested them to download an app. They created a wallet while they're there and had $90 in their wallet before they left for dinner. Like, how does this not scale, Steve? This is far better than any existing loyalty reward program, and it's clicks. Like, all it takes is people educating their people about it. Like, it's this, call it a brand coin, call it what you want. Maybe we need something new. Maybe we need a new phrase that's not loyalty reward program. I also have another take. Remind me about the B check comment in a bit, but thoughts on that? I'll take a breather.
I think it's 2 separate things. So I think Fly and what Blackbird is it is a utility token where you earn it and you can spend it at restaurants. So there's something to do with it.
And that's what was throwing me off, because I thought when I first saw it, I thought Blackbird was the restaurant or Fly. I was like, I don't understand flies because there's a bird in the name. So it's not a brand coin. It's purely a loyalty rewards coin, right? A utility coin that rewards consumers.
Yeah, and I assume you can sell it. I haven't dug deep on Blackbird in a while. I talked to him a while ago. I talked to him like way forever ago. But yeah, it's built on Base, and they're doing
layer 3, I think.
What's that?
Layer 3 on Base, I think.
I don't know actually. I haven't dug into it in a while. I just remember they were building on Base, period, and so I don't remember what they were doing. But yeah, I know that the fly that you earn is sort of like earning loyalty bucks, but it's like connected across restaurants. So it's not terribly different than things that have existed in the past. It's just crypto is a better methodology for it, as I understand it. Now, somebody can correct me if I'm wrong, if people know. Oh, by the way, I forgot to get in the space this morning, so I finally requested up.
Oh shit, my bad.
No.
I got bear with me. It's been a.
Oh no, it was actually on me. I got a text from Dawn while you were doing something. I'm like, oh man, is everything okay? I hope she's okay. And then I look and she's like, you're not showing up in the space as a co-host, host, or even a listener. I'm like, that's because I didn't join. So it was on me this morning while you were cooking on Blackbird. So Blackbird, as I understand it, is a sort of like you basically use it the same way you would, it's sort of like this universal connective sort of, program that works with a bunch of different restaurants. I know that they had issues initially out the gate with getting restaurants and servers to understand it. Like initially it was like, hey, sign up and get a free glass of champagne, but then the servers didn't know what it was and they couldn't explain it. It's sort of like early on when Starbucks Odyssey was popping and people would go into their local Starbucks and they're like, I don't know what that is because it wasn't sort of communicated to the servers and whatnot. So anyway, long story short, like I would say not a brand coin because I think the tricky part with a brand coin and why like a brand coin, again, I'm not like saying like brand coins as a thing cannot exist. I'm saying as a niche, it has to be very specific to something that is community built and community based because a brand coin, the idea is like, hey, it can be served as a reward and it tracks with the company. So if Pengu's a brand coin, I get a Pudgy Penguin toy. I get a little bit of Pengu. I'm excited to own it. I feel like I'm part of the community. I've joined this community. Like similar with Rect, I think in certain brands that can exist, I think for a lot of people, the psychology of that doesn't track. But I think when there's really not much to do except sell a brand coin, it works for a brand like Rect, which has this like diehard base, which is like, let's ride this. Like the Rect community honestly reminds me.
So hold up. Yes. But what if instead of sell, like he has, I mean, this, I'm going to post the screenshots. I'm going to respond to Mackie Chat. I'm going to pin it up above so I can share it. Just, I mean, my brain, I haven't had coffee yet this morning, so I'm not full. You ever heard the Dave Chappelle bit where he talks about, I by the way, I'm not on any campus.
Anytime someone says Dave Chappelle bit, I'm always like, careful. Cause they always, yeah.
It's like, I won't do it justice, but he's like, he goes into his bit, like how he can function while high. And he's like, just not real crisp, fully functional, just not quite as not real crisp, something like that. Anyways, it's bad. I didn't land that one. Just not real crisp this morning though. What if instead of having to, you could sell it right away? You're just growing your balance in this wallet to where you can use it at the next restaurant you go to. Like it's just reward that extends beyond one restaurant, right? Like that's where my brain went with this network, right?
Yes. Yeah. So that's it. That's the idea, is that like it sort of like connects things. It is a very good. I actually think like the Blackbird concept. I'm not like, so here's the thing. I was, not that I was like poo-pooing brand coins by any means, but I was definitely not like when people like, the reason why I said pump the brake on brand coins is I think it works extremely well for Rect because Rect almost has a, like, it's like the Mog community when Mog was ripping up, right? Which is why I have this like feeling about like Rect. The reason why I don't move a lot on coins. I mean, people probably are aware of this, like from listening to the show. I don't move a lot on coins. I own, a handful of things like, Bitcoin, ETH, Solana, some Chainlink, a little bit of AVAX, but I'm actually probably going to sell that and unstake it. A little bit of Polkadot, probably going to sell that and unstake it. And I own Pengu. And I think that's about the stack. There's some little bits and pieces here and there. We all know how crypto goes, spread across wallets. You open up a wallet, you're like, oh, crap, I have like, $300 in this random thing. But like, that's kind of my stack. I moved a decent amount. I moved some ETH when ETH was ripping into Rect on the Binance dip that happened the other day. And the reason being, I do understand, like, there are meme communities that exist that's like, do you remember during the NFT bull run, there are people who buy NFTs, but you're like, you're just buying this so that you can pump it and sell it. And then there were NFT communities like the Bored Apes at the time who were like, I used to put out polls. Here's an example. I used to put out a poll to make an NFT analogy. I promise this is all going to connect. By the way, like, retweet, and comment on the room. We always appreciate it. Super helpful. I used to do this poll where I'd be like, when are you selling your Bored Ape? And I remember at the time, Bored Apes for years were like, people were like either never selling or $1 million or whatever. And then I would do one for like Gutter Cats, and they were looking to get out at a 2x of the majority or a 3x. And I'd be like, that's when I knew I should have sold that thing and I didn't, and I made a mistake, right? So you would learn this about communities. The Rect community, I mean, you feel this too. You put out a tweet about Rect, I feel like I just got overwhelmed. Like, I want to buy in PFP a Rect guy potentially, specifically because the community feels so legitimately real.
I've had a rare Rect guy. I had it listed a few times throughout the bear. I'm so glad it didn't sell. That thing is vaulted and it's not going anywhere. To me, I'm viewing my Rect guy grail as I do my Rect guy stock. was funny. 1 in a million asked if I could, hypothetically, if I could sell him my my rec guy equity, and almost instantly OSF responded, "It's not non-transferable," and I said, "Not for sale, anyways, buddy." But yeah, no, that rec guy NFT it's vaulted, not going anywhere. Actually, I'm going to actually move it to a new vault because it's in kind of like it's in a hard wallet that I F around with. So I'm gonna send it off to the cold.
Yeah, I think and this is like, I think this is like, to me, like this is like the thing. It's like, it's hard to explain.
I got screenshots here of what I was talking about for anyone that's got the screen up in front of you. Go ahead.
Yeah, the value of community and identity. So the reason why I want to separate these two things is I think a brand coin like Rect or Pengu, there is entire Pengu communities that are just pumped about Pengu. There were when it was down, there were when it was up. Their entire community is pumped about Rect. There were when it was down, there were when it was up. Pengu has real products. They sell them in store. They have gifts. They have things that exist in the wild. In fact, it's funny you say this because like my tweet this morning that I put up was related to like, why can't it be the coin of the cycle? And we could talk about that along with Ethereum, which are like my two big topics I want to hit on today as well. Rect guy feels like when I post about Rect, I have a ton of Rect guys in my mentions who are just excited about Rect world domination. They all have Rect PFPs, which they're excited about. They're excited about the brand. They're excited about being part of something. It's the identity aspect of NFTs alongside a product, alongside a coin that represents who they are, and they see this sense of identity with the coin, not just with the NFT. To me, that's what excites me about Rect as a brand coin. That's what excites me about Pengu as a brand coin. I think most brands are going to try and force fit it where these feel very natural, where they built communities for years and the coins are on top of it. The coin like a Blackbird it's not a brand coin to me. It is a loyalty rewards coin that actually is spent across. Like, by the way, awesome.
So I think we agree here. Do you also agree that certainly some brand coins can be loyalty reward coins, but not every loyalty reward program is going to be a brand coin? Is that what we're saying?
I think they go.
But even see this, like, see how they're like. It used to be, hey, refer a friend to PayPal, get $10. This new, hey, spend $10, earn 10,000 fly. Refer three friends, get 10,000 fly. Like, this is a wallet. Like, he's got a crypto wallet, and he's probably going to eat at another Blackbird establishment. It's probably not, it's also like, I believe it is, he got 4,500 fly, which it's showing a fly in USD. So I'm going to go, I want to go to one of these restaurants, but it's like, this is the response. Server just suggested this and said, we get a free $45 for trying it. We just got a free $90. Like, that's impactful. That is far more impactful than sending out ref links to get a $5 or $10 credit. Like, that stuff worked. That built PayPal. That built Dropbox. That built fill in the blank. Like, that was a very effective form of marketing. Now it's gotten a little stale until crypto. And now it's like 10x those rewards that worked in the past. Like, and it is scalable. Like, I know maybe not forever if there's not a flywheel, but I think this is the future, Steve.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's a look. The reason why I like what Blackbird does, one of the reasons anyway, is it's not a eat at this restaurant and only this restaurant and get these points, or maybe it's at a group of restaurants. Like, hey, there's a restaurateur group that has like points related, and you don't even know what the points do. It's like, even like Chipotle, it's like, what are we doing here? I'm getting 27 points and the points equal this. And maybe it's like, at least with like my Delta Sky Miles, I know we were talking about value of Delta Sky Miles one day related to brand coin stuff. Like, at least with my Delta Sky Miles, I know roughly like 1,000 Delta Sky Miles is $100 usually on checkout. Like, so I can at least do the math on that. But why are we doing that? Like, why is it like Sky? Like, I don't know. Like, it's just with Blackbird, it's like, you get the fly. It's worth this much money. You can spend this money and use it on your checkout when you leave places or at participating restaurants. Seems relatively easy and seems like a no-brainer as long as they can keep it, and again, part of the problem with this model though is like stablecoin, the volatility versus like, the volatility of an actual coin. It's like, if one day the price of Fly tanks, which I don't know if Fly is stable or not. I haven't looked deep into this, but like, let's say that Fly is a non-stable coin and your friend got your friend, so your friend gets $90. They're like, hey, I got $90. They're telling all their friends. They go out to eat and it's $14. Like, all of a sudden he's like, crap, right? And I know there's an extreme situation. I mean, it could go the other way.
What if you got $90 next week? He looks in and it's $900.
Right.
Also extreme, but also possible here.
Yeah, but I don't know. But I guess my point being,
if anyone knows Momofuku, I'd like Momofuku CEO Marquette Mariscal, or anyone that's connected to Blackbird. I'd love to have him on the show. I'm just out reading about this.
I had a call with them like a year and a half ago after Starbucks Odyssey. I should see if they're around, but like they were kind of building it out at the time. They were not interested. I was like, do the brand loyalty thing. They're talking about like some community stuff because that's what I did at Starbucks. I was like, no, I can do more than that. I was leading some pretty big communications disciplines.
They actually Fly is our version of Restaurant Gold, Blackbird's reward currency that lets you earn just by dining. Spend it like cash at any restaurant on Blackbird. Your balance updates automatically, so you can always check how much you have at your app at the top of the screen. Huh.
I mean, it's more of a work lift, and maybe it's not worth doing. But like, what would be interesting is you get the Fly. Here's where this could work. Actually, if you get the Fly and you have a chance to say like, hey, you can convert it to dollars. Like they don't even need to say it's a stable coin. They can just say convert it to, black dollars, Blackbird dollars, bird dollars, Fly dollars, whatever it is. Then I think you could enter the risk tolerance for people that makes sense. Because the problem with it being a usable currency throughout is if that money rips downward, yes, upward it could go, but a lot of people don't have a desire. Like the points are so opaque in systems, they don't even think about them. They're just going to do it anyway. If it goes up or down, like to your point, it can go up. But if it goes down, people have a pretty bad experience. They're like, I don't want to do this thing anymore, right? Like people leave crypto. Like think about anybody who's like, you mentioned your friend also. He's like, hey, he got in, had some bad trades, got out of crypto. People do that regularly. So you don't want people leaving your loyalty program because they got $90 that turned into $70, right? Losing $20 is a lot of money for people. Like they look at that and that's big. So if there was an option to convert it to a stable, well, then people like you and me could say, yeah, like Jeremy in the chat says, like, yeah, pretty sure nobody wants decreasing value loyalty rewards. Exactly. And like, yes, it could go the other way, but most people don't have the appetite that you and I have, that it's like, hey, do you want to play a casino game with your loyalty rewards? But if there's the option
it's not tradable. You can only use it in the restaurant. So therefore, this is interesting. How do you do that? How do you make a token not tradable? Must be part of the L3 it's built on.
Yeah, I don't know.
So being restaurant only, it essentially locks in. It really is just like a loyalty points, right? Like you can't dump it, you can't convert it, but it's also not going to go down in value. It's basically a stable coin if it's restaurant only.
If it is a stable coin, this is what we need to look into with this. If it is a stable coin,
why not just do a stable coin?
Yes, because then you could do the math on the stable coin and make it worthwhile to you and everybody else.
Right now, it appears to be it's just 100x the US dollar. Like he had 4,500 Fly, which was $45 US.
Yeah, if it's a stable coin, I don't know. We should do more research on this because I was going to say, if it's a stable coin, I'm actually seeing if I can find out, as we speak.
They also have a membership NFT as well.
So Fly is a stable coin.
It is a stable coin. Okay. Interesting.
Yep.
It's a stable coin that's pegged at 100x the US dollar.
Yeah, 1 cent. So yeah, so that works. That tracks for me. But that's not a brand coin.
But also, why? I guess just because 4,500 looks bigger than 45, like that's why they pegged it at a penny.
Yeah, I'm sure. Like, so these people were. What's their background? Their background is in something. Their background's in something that's like some major, like one of the major restaurant programs that you've heard of, like, God, what is it? It's like Like I got to look at what the backgrounds are and see if I can find it, because like their Blackbird is like they're talking about, like I want to see if I can find the About Us, because I feel like their background is like in like one of the major. Let me look this up.
Dude, this
Here,
is pretty
give
sweet. I'm like my normie friend just introduced me to something I'm actually really geeked out about. This is. I feel like I should. I'm going to pin his ref link here because I feel like he deserves it. This is. I'm really impressed, man. This is it. They nailed it. It's in San Francisco, New York, and Charleston, South Carolina. By the way, expanding rapidly. I'm gonna reach out and see if I can help him grow in Tampa. This is really cool, and there's a lot of restaurants here. I think they would eat this up. Here we go. I found the About finally. Become a partner too. Oh, that's for a restaurant.
Yeah, they did Resi. They did Eater and Resi. So like these people have a background, they get it. So like that's what it was. So I was looking it up.
Background, get it, and they have those connections. They've done Resi. They've got all these restaurant connections already.
So the reason why I say like Resi and the background matters is the background matters because when you said why 4,500, I assume there's some psychology. I don't work in this industry, but some psychology to getting more points than less. Like,
gotta be,
and so
otherwise, all the airlines you wouldn't have 1 million Delta points. You'd have 700.
Right. Yeah, right? Like if you have 300, like if you have 30,000 Delta points, you're like, wow, I feel like I'm really rich. It's like $300, not nothing, but not what sounds like 30,000, right? And so I think that aspect of it is what is coming into play here. But yeah, man, like I talked to them forever ago. I really wanted to potentially work with them post Starbucks, but they just weren't. There's nothing for my skill set there. But I think they're interesting. And the fact that it's a stable coin, like that part lands for me. So I agree with that part. Like give stablecoin rewards to get people in the program. You can probably do the math pretty simple on what the stablecoin is to get your money back on when people dine and what the margins are and all those good things. Like not, my math to do, but I get it. And then when you get a loyalty reward, you don't have to worry anymore about, you basically don't. It's funny. Like this is the thing where like Scott Commenter is like when Starbucks said it was like, dude, you should go work at Blackbird, but they just don't have. They
they don't. The only thing, they've got go-to market. If you looks like Washington D.C. is where they're going next. L.A. as well.
And they're also like, yeah. So yeah, I don't know. It's a great program in that sense. And like I said, like I knew there was Fly, but I didn't know it was a stable coin. I knew they were working on rewards, but I knew initially it was like kind of confusing and they're trying to do some NFT stuff. And then they were giving like a free glass of champagne thing, but getting that message communicated to like servers is weird. So it looks like they're getting better at it and they're getting it communicated better. But yeah, like if you just get $45 in Fly rewards, it's basically just saying across restaurant groups, they serve as this like, they're the giant coupon book we used to sell, but like in a central place and making it like easier to operate and people actually use it. So
they've got a pretty robust, I'll drop it in the chat as well. They call it the Flynet operating statement, AKA white paper. I can't read it all now, but it's pretty robust. And it also references a second token, the F2. I don't know what that means, but if anyone's curious, I'll drop it in the chat and pin that up top also.
Yeah. It's I'm a fan of I was a fan of them, like I said, a year and a half ago when they were building, I was a fan. Now I'm even bigger when I see that they're actually getting it across goal. Because the worry is like trying to convert people over to crypto and get that mindset around it is hard. But building a stable coin makes it easy to use, easy to spend. They built their own sort of, seamless payment system. And yeah, it's a great system. It's a great system. So I like that. And I like it. It's a stable. And yeah, that's the difference between now obviously we're very grounded in this where it's like brand coin can go up or down based on the sentiment of the brand, has to be really specific, has to have a really strong community.
I lost you on stage, by the way. Just resent you the invite. You may need to take a lap.
Yeah, I'm gonna go try this again. But versus a a stable coin like that makes a lot of sense to me. That to me also is more what consumers generally are comfortable with and want. It's more clear and it can work across industries. Like if you can get because like restaurants, it's not like airlines or other ones where you're sort of like competing for the same people. If you have certain restaurants in certain cities that are all on the same page, like nobody's losing in that scenario. So
I actually think it looks, and maybe the exception should be like large chains, but I actually think it works better as a network. I think something like this works better with not just a singular brand for food, right? You could go either way, but I like this as a concept, and I think for like your one-off, nicer establishments, I think that they could really see some, like for instance, if I have this wallet and I've got 500 Blackbird in it, and I'm traveling, I'm far more likely to go, like, I'm not one that like is when I'm just traveling, I'm going to go drop $500 on a steak dinner, hit the the hottest steakhouse in town, unless I'm in Indianapolis and I will go to St. Elmo's. But this would absolutely motivate me to go check out a new steakhouse that I normally wouldn't. Right? It's like because I have these loyalty rewards. I just like I understand they don't want to send their clientele to competitors, but I don't know. I'd have to put some more thought to it, but I actually think this works better as a network of restaurants as opposed to a singular chain.
Exactly. No, absolutely. It being the service to them that says, "Hey, we're creating a loyalty program. You could ask people to sign up, get some free money," and then it's a rising tide rises all boats. I've had this I had this idea. Man, there we go. Co-host is actually working now. I'm trying to remember. I think I might have an example like this in the book, or maybe I got cut from the book, where like there is a logical like connection where cities like sort of like tourism departments could work together on stuff like this. Like I've talked about this where like you basically have like, so like I can't remember if we talked about the book, so I'm going to butcher it. Or if it got pulled and we didn't like fully bake it out, but I know that like we had something where we had talked about, like, let's say you have like a Cleveland city NFT or a Columbus city, and Columbus wants more people to come from Cleveland to Columbus, and Columbus has a city NFT you could buy that gets you deals in local places. We had talked about it. Like you have this in your wallet, you scan the QR code, you get 15% off at various local businesses that participate. Like suddenly you have this pass that you can have that you can use in different cities to get different discounts. And it encourages you to patronize those businesses. It's an idea that we had talked about. Maybe we did put this in the book and I cannot remember, or maybe it was in an article we had written. Maybe it was an example we gave on an interview. I can't even remember at this point. I need to reread my own book. But the idea is like, we had talked about it with an NFT application where it's like, there we go. I froze for a second. You have a Tampa NFT that your Tampa NFT gets you deals at all the local restaurants, and people in, Fort Lauderdale or even Clearwater, like locally, like over the bridge are saying like, hey, like there's a Clearwater NFT, like cross discounts that you can program and use for specific weeks and restaurant weeks. Like, why not?
Have we ever talked about one of my first entrepreneur ventures while I was at the Ohio State University?
I know you talked about dialing for dollars.
That was one. Just what you described, pre-NFTs, buddy of mine created the VIP party card, and we had, I don't know, contracts with like 30, 40 some different, like Long Street Live and, Frog Bear and Wild Boar. I can't even remember all the clubs now, but at the time, like early 2000s, there was a lot of nightclubs and bars in Columbus and Short North and Campus. And long story short, we got to deal with all of them. Whereas like you got free cover instead of paying $5 or $10 to get in, you could get free cover or free appetizer or something like that. There was a deal, a discount for all these different establishments. I think we sold the cards for $20 maybe, and it was just like a credit card, plastic card, and it was just one and done because at the end of the day, it was a lot of work, and we ended up hardly making anything off of it. There was something with the college bookstores that was similar to the time. It was really big. Do you remember this? It wasn't nightclubs. It was a similar discount card. Like you could get it at like Long's bookstore, and it was like your discount card throughout campus. It was they like went national, I think, through some of those bookstores. And so like ultimately that was the goal, was to scale up the entertainment comparison and then sell it to them. We just after one season of a lot of work and making probably like 10 cents an hour, we decided to throw in the towel. But basically what modern an analog version, what you just described with an NFT, that enables this stuff. Like it's just like it makes sense. It really hasn't. I mean, as far as I can tell, Blackbird is the first to really do this at even a decent scale, right?
Yeah, the hard part is, and this is what makes it hard, is like Blackbird's doing it at a decent scale. They're well funded. I know they're A16Z back. That's how I learned about them back again when Starbucks was sunsetting. The tricky part is it sounds awesome until you need to build the infrastructure for everybody. Because like if you want to do this local discount card that's on the blockchain type deal, you need to have something and a system in place that works for any local business that wants to participate in your city. Pilot it, make it work. By the way, this is also a great example of like connected clothing, utility, same sort of deal. Like connected clothing, if your NFC chip works the same way, but you need to install like Blackbird, if I recall correctly, they were trying to install these various like pucks that would work in places and like, so the infrastructure
That's never worked.
Yeah, the infrastructure part is hard, just like what you dealt with. But by the way, thanks, Jambert. Appreciate that. Got the audio version of my book. Started on the plane, enjoying it. Definitely will get the hardback. Yes, Jambert. Appreciate that more than you know. Like always, happy to hear people checking out the book.
I might have. Well, never mind.
Yeah,
I don't want to dox anything, so I'm going to bite my tongue. But shout out to Jambert.
Shout out to Jambert.
Also, real quick, because I just closed the tab. Guess what I did yesterday?
What?
Well, not quite done. It's getting installed Thursday. I kid you not. I reduced actually for the next 90 days, it's going to be free. So I took my internet cost to 0 for 3 months. But after that, it'll be a 50% cost reduction for 7x the speed, Steve.
This is something Dawn and I talked about needing to do, by the way. We need to
fiber 7 gigs up, 7 gigs down at 50% less than what I was paying.
Yeah. It's funny because we were just talking about we were just talking about the fact that we need to review everything we have. Like for example, like and this is cold open type stuff, I know. Because like we were talking about the fact that like we have like all these streaming services that are now running us a crazy bill. And it's like, I know some of them we bundle and things like that, but it's like we use Disney Plus once every 4 months. Like, do we really need Disney Plus? Like,
check your Amazon subs too. I went through and just cleared a couple. Some of them I definitely didn't put on there. And by the way, I called them and they credited it all back.
My Amazon subs are a problem in the sense that like
someone added Amazon Music by way of my Echo Dot in my backyard. Kid you not, I got a notification that you've congratulations for signing for Amazon. I'm like, what the fuck? And I canceled it immediately. And then I called, like, I did not add this. And like, oh, we saw it got added by your backyard Echo Dot. So hang out, squatting in my backyard, swimming in my pool, listening to music.
I got to find, like, is it just under subscribe and save? Anyway, we could talk about that off air. I got to figure that out. But like, my main subscribe
about my ETH is the pick and shovel, like the new ETH narrative.
Yeah, but like, I guess long story short, like, I think it would be awesome to create like a city thing like that. It's just, that's the type of team I could work on, but I couldn't like lead or build that infra. Like, I think there is a major opportunity there, but you would need like an initiative through the city. Like, you would need to go through like Tampa and be like, we need to build this thing and we need the funding and we can get, some funding behind it if we give some money back, and we could have the companies work on this. And here's the, tokenomics, all these things. You would need a Blackbird model, but like, so I think something like that makes a lot of sense if you can get a city involved and excited about it and really encourage more patronizing around businesses and create the good system. It's a tricky thing to create, and it requires a lot of undertaking.
We're going to, like, for those of us that are our age, you're going to laugh when I pull this up, but I'm dead serious. Yes, I am this old Captain Dad Pants. This stuff worked. Like, we went from coupons everywhere. We had coupon magazines, we had coupon cards. I remember selling them as a kid for like fundraisers. Like, oh, you got, the VIP party card. It wasn't an original idea. It was, we sold a fundraiser for, you buy this $20 card, you get, free hash brown at McDonald's. Like, this stuff has been around forever. And then our world went so digital, and it's like we've went away from it. Like, all we have now is, for the most part, it's like shifted from this to like Rakuten and Honey and things where you get money off on things you buy online. But we went 100% digital, and it's as if we forgot about the physical connection here. like with coupon books and coupon cards, right? Like, am I crazy, or did this like not fall off? This massive opportunity just went all digital and left the physical establishments behind.
I had a recommendation. My wife, Dawn, was the head of our local PTA at my kid's school for a couple of years. And we had talked about doing a fundraiser where parents can drop off the kids and local restaurants do discounts for that night. If you have some sort of thing where you basically would drop the kids off at the gym, they would get watched there. And then you would get, and there was a fundraiser, you'd pay to have them watch your kids, and you drop them off, like, let's say 5 p.m. You get a physical card that you get when you drop them off. And if you bring this to select restaurants around the city, those restaurants would give you a certain deal or a free appetizer or something like that. And we actually talked about this as an idea because parents get a night out, kids go and get babysat and hang out with their friends. And, parents come back, pick up their kids, they get the night out and they hang out and whatever. And they pick their kids up at the school at, whenever they're done with their dinner. The coupon books were great, but nobody used the coupons in them. It was very rare. It was hard. Like, they did, but it was like no one got full value out of that thing. Because we always sold those things. We're like, for buying this coupon book for $100, you get $500 worth of discounts. And then people didn't redeem them, and companies kind of banked on that. And the coupons always were like expiring in 6 months or whatever. So, yeah, I mean, on the blockchain, like, this makes sense. This is a very logical blockchain application that we should do, but we haven't done. And it's this undertaking where I personally would love to be part of a team that's building something like that. Like, that is exactly the type of thing I want to build. The tricky part being the cost and opportunity is like, it's just so much work to do. And so I don't have the infrastructure or ability. I, would be more than happy to try to build it in a particular city and create more business around the city. But it's like, you need to participate and get the city involved. Then you need to participate and get the brands, the companies involved. Then you need to figure out the economics of it. Then you need to get the funding and the backing of it. Then you need to build the infrastructure. Then you need to put the infrastructure in the actual businesses. So, like, that's one of the things that was actually one of the concerns about Blackbird when I talked to them, like I said, is like them putting pucks that you would have to like scan to get your free, like, champagne or whatever. It didn't really feel like it was scalable and doable. Now it feels a lot more scalable and doable the way they're doing it, but it's like the amount of work to undertake that, God bless them. I don't know. But this is also like the way everything should be. Like, national parks should have something you scan to get a Soulbound POAP that you were there that goes into a national park book that you own. Like, all of these things should exist. It's just people don't put them into play. Von Fronten, saw you jump up here. Go ahead, GM.
Hey, GM, everybody. Abdicating my throne on YouTube this morning because I got to run around a lot, so I'll be mobile. So I think to Cap's point, coupons didn't go away. Coupons live within individual ecosystems now, right? So if I want to get a free McDonald's hash brown, I have to download the McDonald's app and I earn points in McDonald's app. And then I get a little push notification that says, hey, congratulations, you got 500 points. You can go claim your free hash brown, right? Like, and then I get the same thing for if I want to get, 10% off the next Lululemon drop in the Lululemon app. So they exist. I think the issue is everybody has a digital arm now. And so and everybody wants to keep you in their walled garden. And I think that's something that, even as, look, we're a lot of things you guys are talking about, a lot of things that, I'm thinking about with Vanga of like, how do you get people to start to have that reciprocal type of network that, Blackbird's building where, hey, I'm willing to send my customers somewhere else if they're willing to send their customers to me. And that requires a lot of trust from the network participants that they think, hey, if they only come here, if they never spend a dime at my restaurant, they only come to my restaurant for the free champagne and the free steak. So I'm a loser on that customer. I got to believe that I'm going to have more than that number of customers who are going to be the ones spending money at my establishment and go get the free champagne at, the other guys, right? So I think that's the hardest part of getting the flywheel going. Once you can get that going, and props to Blackbird for, I think, finding a way to make this work. And maybe there was some upfront funding that kind of de-risked it for the restaurant owners. I don't know. I'd be interested to learn more. I think that's when you can start to build these kinds of things, right? But I think it's not that companies have stopped giving things away, whether it's discounts or free things or things like that. I think it's that everybody has set up these walled gardens because they can have their own app and they can have this very direct relationship with their customer. And by doing so, McDonald's isn't sending anybody to Wendy's. They're not sending anybody to the dry cleaner across the street. They're keeping people in McDonald's the same way that Delta keeps people with Delta, and they're not allowing me to go use my points at American or elsewhere. So I think it's a hard problem to solve. And then with the pucks and the physical thing, and we've run some pilots with this with Vanga, with whether it's in clothing or even some like outside of clothing experiments. It's a different mindset. It is a consumer behavior. QR codes are ubiquitous. They're still not supernatural, and not everybody is willing to go scan a QR code because they think it's going to be some scam or something like that. NFC chips, that's a whole other layer of friction that you got to get people kind of comfortable with. We did an activation with Vanga where I'm sitting there like explaining to people how it works, and they're like, "What information are you going to get? Are you going to share my location? Are you going to get my personal information?" Nope, not doing it. Not today, Satan. So I think there's a lot of consumer behavior that I think you got to get over to build the thing that you're doing here. So I'm super interested in what Blackbird's doing with Fly. Super interested in how they're getting the businesses and the consumers to activate with this. Because to be honest, I'll probably look to steal some of the good stuff and see if I can use it for my own.
So a couple things on that. I actually love. All great points. I agree. That's why number one, I think it has to be local businesses, because I think local businesses, a lot of local businesses, especially if you're a one-off local restaurant, their loyalty program's a side quest where it's like they want to get you in, they're doing all this work, and they're like, "Oh, by the way, you should sign up for our loyalty program and you can earn this, this, and this." And I'm like, yeah, I come here like I think the thing with local businesses, like if like the local Indianapolis steakhouse, not like St. Elmo's, which is famous, but the local, like Joe's Steakhouse, somebody's going there and they're eating there, well, like once. And then like a loyalty program, I never sign up because I'm like, I guess I could, but like, am I coming back here? And then I have to put in this address and my phone number, and then maybe I get it and I forget to do it. That's the appeal, is that you're driving more people across multiple restaurants and encouraging more people to eat out more and do more things across the city. So I think getting that participation is something that is worthwhile. I think to your point, like as far as what they do with the program, I think that is going to be more restaurant dependent in that. And again, I work in the restaurant business, so I don't know enough about this to say it, to give restaurants as an example, but even local shops, it's like when Disney pulls people in, as Joey Valles, who we'll go to in a minute here, always reminds us, Disney doesn't make money on you showing up to the park. They make money on you buying a, $7 Dole Whip that costs them 37 cents to make. So I think like those things are like an example of like, you figure out what you give them that you're going to make money on the rest. Because the truth is, if you just have this thing that you don't even need to pay for, or maybe it's a small membership fee or whatever the number is, I have to figure out the economics on it, then you're just encouraging continued business. Like you probably make money on the restaurants paying to be part of it. You probably make a little bit of money on the actual participants being part of it. And then you let them out into the wild to do their own thing, and you're encouraging them, and people are going to potentially eat out more. It's the same idea at Starbucks Odyssey, where it's like my average check increased when I was part of Starbucks Odyssey because they would nudge me in that direction. If you have an app on the phone that has this in it, where it's like you have one currency you can spend across these things that goes through, then it's like, well, you could nudge me and be like, hey, by the way, like we're running this deal for people who are members of this thing this week, and you could do it. And it's almost like having a restaurant week type thing. So it is challenging to get started. I agree with you. The physical puck thing, this QR code thing, that's why there needs to be a more seamless way to do it, whether it's like an app, or I don't even know how it does, like your credit card's tied to your app or something, where it's like, is there a way, I don't know what this is, but it's like your credit card's tied to your app. When you check out and it recognizes your card, it can automatically take off in the system. Again, hard infrastructure. It's hard infrastructure to build, but it's a logical thing that would drive more business locally to people. And I think they would see upside of incremental customers, because let's say that you have a smaller network of 5 restaurants. I might go to 2 of them and discover 3 of them, and suddenly I'm now a customer. And then guess what? I'm probably going to go back again. Maybe not tomorrow, maybe not next week, but the next month I will. And when I'm like, hey, we're looking for something to do, like every time we fly, Fun Front, we fly Delta. Why? Because we're a member and we want to go. And I know that's a walled garden example, but it's like we want to use it because we're like, well, I'm going to fly Delta. And like when I'm flying, I'm going to do Delta. If I'm looking to go out and I have the Cap's point he made earlier, $45 in one of those restaurants, that's where I'm going to go.
So Zane is raining on our parade here. It was about a different phrase.
He's pissing in our cornflakes.
How is this different from any normal rewards loyalty program, Steve? Pretty sure all restaurants do this already. Why does it need to be 4,500 fly instead of 4,500 loyalty points?
Because, well, a couple reasons, I would say. Number one, you're talking about singular restaurants versus connecting them all into one. Number two, you're talking about something that works across them. And to me, it's like that's where the boring stuff comes in because the blockchain is just a better solution for that. So instead of like 4,500 points, what does that mean in one versus the other? Exactly. Jeremy Simpson, transferable. That's where it changes things versus if I'm like, hey, there's this one card that works. So you scan this card.
I can't use my Red Robin points at Chick-fil-A.
Exactly. And like, then I need to bring a physical card potentially, or put a phone number and maybe that connects or maybe that doesn't. It's just creating a more connected loyalty rewards program that works.
Weird. I don't think I've eaten at Red Robin in 30 years. Odd one to pop into my brain this morning.
Unlimited baskets of fries, man. But yeah, that's where it differentiates a little bit. And again, this is also the area where it gets boring, but also important that the blockchain is just strictly a better solution for a variety of things. Like when we talk about like InfoFi as a sector, if you're the New York Yankees trying to find your top fan, you might go with tickets, you might go with merch sales, but then you're trying to connect an email and you're trying to figure out, did they put that in a checkout? You have one seamless piece of technology that underpins all of it. You can get all the information, including how much they talk about your brand on various social media sites. So I think those parts of it are what makes it better. And again, you could have it go across multiple things. The blockchain is just the tech enabling it that makes it easier because it's harder to do a multi-restaurant discount. And again, I think the local businesses are the ones that eat off this thing because Applebee's doesn't need to have a non-Applebee's reward program because Applebee's has Applebee's in every single city. So if you're an Applebee's fan, you can eat at Applebee's in every city. And if they have a loyalty program, you can go to all the Applebee's all over the place in any city. You know, you can eat at Cracker Barrel anywhere. It's the local restaurants that have the opportunity. And then the local restaurants in Tampa doing a home and home with the restaurants in Clearwater, like that's where the magic can potentially happen. And you make it really, really easy instead of making it a pain in the ass for the servers and a pain in the ass for the restaurants. It's one piece of technology.
I think Von Front has a similar question to Zane. Von Front GM. Maybe not.
Von Front, you want to get back in here?
Sorry, Cap was cutting out for me. You guys hear me?
Yeah. No, I was just saying, I saw your post in the war room. If you have a coin that is stable in an individual network, why launch a token at all? Why not just have traditional loyalty rewards programs? Is that what you came up to say or something different?
Yeah, so I think two things. One, if you're an Applebee's fan, Godspeed. Not my journey, but I think here's the issue. I agree with Zane on this point. On if it's a stable coin, it can only be used in this. Granted, it's a bigger walled garden, but it's still kind of a walled garden within the network. Then there have been programs that are multi-business loyalty rewards programs, right? Like the ice cream place that's like a mile down the road for me uses the same thing as the butcher shop that is down the street from that. I get whatever they're called, spot points or whatever the program's called, and I can use them across the two things, right? And they're just points. There's no blockchain. You don't need it, right? I think what's interesting, and I'm not saying this is what's happening, but I think what makes this interesting and where I do agree potentially blockchain can enhance a program like that is if now I am using, let's just use Fly, right? I'm now going to these restaurants, I'm paying in Fly, I'm a business accumulating Fly, and that has a monetary value that I can then go use elsewhere, whether it is offloading to fiat or some other benefit that benefits me as the business owner to accumulate this token. That is where I think I can see a better solution for blockchain, because I'm not just, basically giving away free stuff in hopes that hey, if I gave away a free drink, they also bought a meal and I made money on that transaction. Or they discovered this restaurant on the free one and they're going to come back, next month and pay. And that's where I make my money. Potentially, there is a way to utilize the token to financially benefit the business owner. That is a use case where I can see the blockchain being a better loyalty rewards program. We'll have to read into the Fly white paper and see if that's what they're doing. But that's where I can see, I hope they're doing that. I hope they're making this beneficial for the business owners. I assume they are. People wouldn't be signing up in a way that is very blockchain specific. Otherwise, I wholeheartedly agree with Zane's take that all they've done is made kind of a more complicated loyalty rewards program that does the same thing that, these other networks do.
I mean, you can give away more money based on the fact that it's a stable coin. So that's one thing that is significantly different. Instead of giving away free points to give away free stuff, you can actually make money on a stable coin. So that's there.
If you can offload it, if I'm a business owner and I made $5,000 worth of Fly and I can go sell that and put that $5,000 in my bank account to pay my staff or to make, next week's purchases, then yes, wholeheartedly agree. I just haven't seen what is the ability to offload Fly yet.
Yeah, I mean, I do think the underlying tech is better at the same time. I do think it makes it a little easier for businesses. It's right now, like you said, there are things that are complicated about it. If you're introducing pucks and QR codes and things, I think the blockchain can be better for that. But I just, I think the stable coin you can actually make money on. So there's some other reasons that might make sense. But let's go to Joey, because I know we got to get Joey in here and do a market update still. Joey, go ahead and get in here.
Yeah, so this is interesting. I had something when I owned my own business back in 2004 to 2009. I was a health food cafe smoothie shop. And, we had a lot of people that came into the store that would pitch all these different reward programs and networks and et cetera. Oh, if you join this program, your people earn points and they can, very similar to this, right? My pushback had always been, because at that time they weren't paying us to be part of the program. Right. The idea was, it was if everybody shops local, they're going to stay local, et cetera, et cetera. But there was no financial reward for us for signing up. The idea was, if they come in here because they have so many free points and redeem it for a free smoothie and a wrap and they like it, they're going to come back. Right. It was like a marketing thing. My struggle is that if people have favorite places they like to go, right? And then they only really check you out when they have something for free, because and again, I don't know this model, but I would love to register. I don't have a restaurant, maybe have a friend register to see what the model is, because I feel like it'd be really difficult to convince these restaurants to accept to give away free food and drinks unless there's some form of compensation for the restaurant. To Von Frutten's point, if I'm in this program and I accept 100 Fly or 100,000 Fly or whatever it is, right? $100 equivalent in Fly, do I get to turn that back in to get the cash equivalent to cover my cost, my food cost, my labor cost, et cetera? If not, is there just a compensation that I get for being part of the program, offering up this stuff? Because yes, it's marketing, but there's still hard costs associated with giving this stuff away. And it's obviously too early to tell, but that would be my only pushback as a small business owner, is how do I get paid if people just come and only spend $50 because that's the 50 free dollars they have? They don't spend any more than that.
I don't think that's the case, though, with most of these promotions. I know what you're saying, but I think the exception versus the rule. I think there is situations look, 7-Eleven gives out free Slurpees or whatever on what's it called?
On 7-Eleven.
On 7-Eleven, on the, 7. That's one thing. If they give away free Slurpees, then someone's going to go in and get their free Slurpee. I think generally speaking, if restaurants are hey, you want an excuse to go to dinner? We're giving you a free appetizer. Then people there aren't as many people who go, you know what, like, let's go get a free appetizer and absolutely nothing else. We're not going to order a drink. We're not going to order any food. We're not going to order anything. Like, that part I think is a lot less likely. So I get it, but like,
but a free appetizer is different than walking in with $100 gift card, right? Like, giving somebody a free appetizer is right. Like, so if you've never owned a restaurant,
but the company, Joey,
margins are really small, right?
The company isn't giving out the $100. Blackbird is giving out the $100. They're saying sign up and you get $45 each, which I think is an initial promotion. It's not like the company is eating. It's not like the restaurant is eating $90 worth of. I think that's just initial sign up because they're new. So that's very different than earning against a stable coin where they're earning 10% yield. So you potentially get 5% of your meal back, which is like a discount that's worth doing. Like, so that's where we need to probably look into the tokenomics more. But I don't think it's the restaurants giving the money. It's Blackbird in this instance.
No, I know they're not. But if you come in and spend $90 at my $93 that Blackbird gave you at my restaurant, though,
let's do this. I'll read them. I'm like really impressed reading through this paper. I don't want to go off on too much of a tangent on just like making guesses and assumptions when they actually have it all baked out. This is not. So I'm just going to read a few nuggets and then let us see if we can get someone on the team on. We'll actually speak intelligently because like they've already solved for this, so they already have a plan, and we're just kind of speaking through like what may be the case. But they're too often restaurants loyalty programs just means free dessert for VIPs. Their four main components of this is a data play for them. This is they're talking like personal identifiable information, data stored securely in Blackbird's database, history of restaurant check-ins, guest value score, spending wallet balance. It goes on to say that essentially they are tokenizing and making transparent and tokenized loyalty reward and scoring system to create strong and direct connections with their consumers. Basically, like the example I said, like my friend in Denver, now he goes to another city. It's his first time there. That restaurant can now see the projected lifetime value of them as a customer. It allows them to do different campaigns. There's really a lot that they have baked out here. Instead of us talking through what we might think they're doing, it's all there. This all came to me real time, and I didn't go through and actually read the stuff before, other than what my buddy sent me last night. But does that make sense?
Yeah, let's do that. Let's like go through the white paper, because to your point, like it's much deeper than what we're saying, and there's always something else behind it with the data and the information, and it's sort of like the same idea of like at Progressive, where like I had a buddy who figured out the lifetime potential value for like 28 different customer profiles, and if there were one, we want to send them Geico's information, and if there were 128, we probably want to give them a discount. Probably has a lot more of that, like that type thing involved. So
it's an engagement, loyalty, and payments network is what they're calling it. Yeah.
So I think that there's a lot more to it, and that's where, and payments network is a whole different ball game that I'm not familiar with that we probably need to look into. So let's do this. Do you want to do daily market update, or do you want to bring on guests first?
Let's knock out the update real quick.
All right, let's do daily market update. I will play us in.
The daily market update straight to your brain. Powered by ApeCoin, no hype, just gains. Moving on ApeChain, we bring in the heat. NFT spends alpha, never miss a beat. ApeChain on top, now we bringing the flex. The home of NFTs, these now what's next. Come on, my head top, but you want the time and chop for one time.
It's time for the daily market update, powered by ApeCoin, the home of NFTs. ApeChain has it all, bringing culture, fun, and community to the blockchain. Dive in and see why ApeChain is on top. Cap.
Yeah, so interesting stuff. As I first glanced at the the update here, I may need some help if anyone knows, because some things, kind of some anomalies. We will start with NFTs. Pudgy's down 4% on the day after they went on a face melting rip, 14.24 ETH. Little Pudgy's though up 17%, up to 1.58. Let's start there. Why? How does that happen?
Yeah, I don't know. I think maybe people are rolling in, and there's some. Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe liquidations. I know a lot of the Pudgy run up was blend loans. I don't think they got liquidated that quickly, but it's odd to see Lil's up 17%, Bigs down 4%. I don't know if I've ever seen that. Apes down 3%. Almost all pulled back after their crazy run we had. So hopefully it's just a just a blip, and we resume up only tomorrow. Apes 11.1. V1 CryptoPunks, first time I've seen them on the chart in a minute, showing down 46% of the day. Did someone get hacked?
I don't know. That might be an anomaly, or that might be a hack. Because that would be a lot of sales.
0.73 seems, so it's just one. That's probably not real. 1.3, something funny going on there. If that's actually a real listing, that's probably a free V1 CryptoPunks. But I haven't even thought of V1 CryptoPunks for a minute. So interesting to see them on the chart. Mutants down 6% to 1.72. Milady's down 1.1 or 51% to 2.34. Azuki down 3% to 2.01. Doodles down 1.8%, but still above an ETH. Other D's down 0.13. Seen a lot of volume though, and Opepin's down 7% on the day. The heading down here to memes. Doge down 6%. Sheeb down 5%. Pepe down 3%. Bonk up 5%. The big winner on the day, though, we've been talking about Pingu rather, just continues its tear, not just up 20% of the day, but another 1.74 billion in volume, doing some big numbers over there. Pump Fun holding a chop, 5.5 billion, up 1% of the day. I don't know if we'll have time to get into today. Maybe a conversation for tomorrow. I think we might have come to the end of airdrops for all at TGE. I think what we're seeing with Pump, I think how Rect is doing it, where it's like a trickle, death by 1,000 cuts, I think is Von Frenten called it, as opposed to just here, everyone gets your free claim that they just sell. Pingu, for example, probably the widest distribution, I should say. And after TGE might have run up for a little bit, and then it was pretty much down only. As presumably a lot of those claimers, those free claimers, just sold. Similar with Dude, a lot of those free claimers just immediately sold, nothing to do with the token. Whereas with Pump, the airdrop is delayed. The pre-sellers are, some of them have certainly sold, but you just don't have that sell pressure that you get when you just give thousands of people free magical internet money with nothing to do with it, other than sell. So, and with Rect, it's spread out across dozens, if not hundreds of activations, as opposed to a one-time, activation event. So before I move on to the other rest of this update, any quick thoughts on that? I mean, we probably a deeper discussion for tomorrow, but any high-level thoughts on the end of airdrops as we know it?
No, I think it's a good deeper discussion to have. I think then we have to decide, do we just not want OpenSea to do an airdrop? Do we not want, those decisions are things we'd have to figure out. But I want to kind of get more into a nuanced discussion about it for sure.
Yeah, let's punt that one, because I think it is worth a deeper talk for sure. Runes, after we talked positively yesterday, all red except for Gizmo. And the majors, Bitcoin back down to 117, 142, down 4% of the day. ETH down 1%, just lost 3K at 2996. XRP down 2% to $2.90. Solana down 4%. Doge down 6%. Cardano down 2%. We'll be back. Don't be sad. We can't have all green days every day. But that's our daily market update, brought to you by ApeChain. ApeChain on top, and we're going to get a talk with a special ApeChain builder and ApeChain Spotlight Season 2 here in a minute, Steve.
Yeah, excited for this one. Excited to talk in general, and just excited about what ApeChain is doing with the Spotlight. So this should be a fun one. I don't know if we let's go ahead and bring on Shpend. I know we got SimpleFarmer on stage, and Cap, I'll let you take it away.
Yeah, so we, obviously we're big fans of Clutch Market here and SimpleFarmer. You've heard us say many times, we partnered with Clutch Market. I love their platform. Prediction Market Parlays is unique to ApeChain, and especially with the new big beautiful bill, this is probably where I'll be doing the majority of my sports betting going forward. Big fan of not just what Clutch Market is, but I've said this before, and I truly mean it, how SimpleFarmer is building. And I think I might even said on here, I was hopeful that season 2, and this isn't to knock any of the amazing PFP communities over on ApeChain. They're great. There's some incredible leaders, but there is, like I said, there's a lot of them already. And I was really hopeful season 2, we would, the focus would be on unique new dApps, consumer apps, things that, aren't just community and vibes, but really things that are novel, and where blockchain tech, and in this case, ApeChain, just makes things better than it is off chain. And how SimpleFarmer is going about building, and I mean, he is got to be a team of ninjas somewhere because ships at a relentless clip. He's in the weeds. He's with the community, and it's just like this is. I was really excited to see this was a big focus of Spotlight Season 2 because it's deserved. I'm grateful to have a builder like SimpleFarmer on ApeChain, and I think this is sustainable, right? Like there's a world where clutch markets becomes, people talk about poly market, and then the sentence later they talk about clutch markets because that's where they go. That's where they go there to get their parlays placed for these prediction markets at ape.clutch.market. So all that to be said, SimpleFarmer, we'll go to you first. Hope you're not blushing too much, but I know we've had you on before as well. GM, welcome. And is there anything like by way of background or introduction that you maybe haven't shared with us yet, or you just like you'd like to fill in the dots of something I missed there on your backstory or intro, whether it's yourself personally or Clutch?
Hey Cap, hey Steve, GM. Yeah, I think you guys hit on a lot of key points. I am super grateful to be part of Spotlight on ApeChain. I think the model that ApeChain is using, the incentivization model, is super interesting because there's a fine line between on-chain incentivization and just emissions, just depending on how you do it. So I think there's like a deep discussion that we can get into there. But also just in terms of Clutch, it's been the culmination of a lot of hard work, a lot of step-by-step growth, just from like an organic grassroots movement. We didn't have any big raise to start with initially. This is kind of just a brainchild that's just continuing to grow out of proportions in the most positive sense. And super happy to be partnered with Coffee with Captain, your guys' show, as usual, providing some real insight. I love that conversation earlier on things like Blackbird. Just to transition from that, I think Blackbird is actually an Arbitrum L3, if I'm not mistaken.
I don't know. It would be base is optimism, right? I think it's a base L3. So close, but similar but different. They would be, I think they're on the optimism version of what would be like basically Blackbird is to base as ApeChain is to Arbitrum. Am I saying that right?
I think so. I think it's right.
That said, I am appreciate you being here, appreciate your time, and excited to talk ApeChain Spotlight Season 2. I see our guy Frosty, who's friend of the show, loyal listener, is popping on that leaderboard in the number 2 spot already. NGB GM, welcome. Always a pleasure. Appreciate you taking the time out to join us this morning. Where do we want to start talking all things ApeChain Spotlight Season 2?
GM, man, thank you for having me. Yeah, I think first and foremost, I want to start off by saying, if you aren't already on the platform, please check out the official ApeCoin page. You can find the link there to go ahead and ape in, and also the Medium blog that kind of dives into the details of what to expect for this season, the quests, and things like, multipliers that can tend to lead, can tend to determine where you land on the leaderboard, like our good friend Frosty's here, who is a meme coin savant, which has been the reason why he's climbing up the leaderboards. I think, I would love to start off just by touching on the overall goal of the season, right? Like we really want to highlight a prolific builder on ApeChain. I think you guys have done a great job highlighting him on Coffee with Captain, partnering with him. He's SimpleFarmer here, man. He's a legend. Like you said, this guy ships like no other. By the time you go to bed and wake up in the next morning, there's another product on the Clutch platform, and it's a good one. It's one that people have either asked for or could use every day of the week. So outside of that, we really want to drive the conversation of ApeChain and also things that are happening outside of ApeChain. This season is open to everyone, right? Like there are markets here that, of course, touch on the BAYC community, touch on the ApeChain community, but also offer opportunities for people in the wider crypto space, right? Like there's a market right now touching on the pump fund market cap. So if you feel like you have a great gist of where you think that's going, there could be some free money on the table there for you. That does look to be one of our larger markets at the moment. There's going to be more things rolling out, of course, tied to the greater news that's happening in the world, tied to also the greater crypto Twitter, and then of course specific to our ApeChain community. So outside of the prediction market side, you guys have done a great job highlighting the parlay aspect of clutch dot market. So this season touches on a couple points, right? The social conversations happening on X. We want people to, of course, feel confident and also be rewarded for sharing their market ideas. If you're a participant on Spotlight, you have the opportunity now to, via a quest, share a market submission. Those top submissions will end up becoming actual seeded markets on Apes Predict. So I know I'm rambling here a bit, but one final thing I do want to touch on is all of these Apes Predicts markets that are included in the Spotlight rollout this season are seeded by the ApeCoin intern of 10K Ape. So that means on either side, on both sides, we're supplying the liquidity there. And if you feel like know where maybe a market may land or feel confidently about a topic, then that may be a good opportunity for you to bet with some size and bring home a decent size win. Are there any questions on what I just touched on there? Thanks for having me up, man.
I love it. I appreciate it. I'm playing a little catch up here. I connected everything and going through the task, but there's a lot in there and a lot that some of you probably like. If you use Clutch Market at all, you're going to just by default qualify for some of these, but it's not just that. There's a lot of, there's some social activity. There's a lot of very, I would say like light lift, low cost ways to participate. Like I know there was some feedback last time about this is a whales game. And while certainly, please know that just like meme coins and NFTs are risky and volatile, so is gambling. You can place a parlay and it's likely going to go to zero, right? Like parlays have big payouts because they don't often hit. So please don't ever put any money in you can't afford to lose. But my first thought as I scan down this, and yes, there's multipliers and stuff, is it feels like it's more, you can certainly move up the leaderboard without having to spend thousands and thousands of ape. Am I correct in that assessment?
Yeah, that's correct, man. I mean, the multipliers, of course, will drive, a good bit of the points. But here we did scale back the NFT side of the multipliers. And there are a few meme coins that, have higher multipliers, but there's only a couple of those. And
you gotta get hose in there, I think I heard.
Yeah, I mean, if it's over 75K market cap and it holds that market cap, it has a good chance of being added onto the Spotlight as a multiplier. So I think you hit on a great point, man. A lot of these are a minimum of 5 8 to enter, right? So it's what is at this stage maybe $2.50 ish, $3. And yeah, I think the real goal is trying to open this up and allowing anyone that really wants to, anyone that's active, anyone that's paying attention to what's going on, have an opportunity, right? And I think outside of the individual prizes and the collection leaderboard that we'll get into, participating offers you the opportunity to win, right? Like if you are entering in these markets with X amount of ape, and you end up, landing on the right side of the, the resolution, then you are bringing home more ape than you put in. So there's opportunities all throughout, and yeah, I think the goal here was to try to make it as low as a cost basis for anyone that's that wants to play around and enter.
Oh, hose isn't there. I misspoke. Next, so a lot of
hose is there. Yes, they are. They should be towards the top, right? If you scroll down a little bit more, yeah, right there in that section. Right there, the fourth one.
Yep. So I probably don't have enough. I put in 100 ape, so I don't have enough of the multiplier. A lot of quests. I see some of these say they update in 12 hours. Are any of these time bound? Or any of the ones that like the claims that are active now? Are any of them like ending soon? Am I like what does that look like? Will most of these quests be open for the duration of the season, or it's like if you don't do it today, you're out?
Yeah, so the section that you're looking into right now is the multiplier section. Those are going to be live throughout. If you move, like let's say you have X amount of NFTs for a threshold here, and you buy NFTs to hit the next threshold, you either have to wait that countdown period or hit the claim now for your new multipliers to show.
Okay.
So the ones up here, I would say like the Get in the Trenches, the more social quests, those can either be a mix of one-time quests that you get one opportunity to complete, get points for them, and that's it. And then there are some that will be daily quests. If you collapse that second, if you scroll down a little bit, oh, there it goes. So like some of these right here, these are one-time quests. Yep, and then those are one a day as well. So there's a mix of one times that don't have a mark by it. You can see the weekly right here as well. Um, so yeah, they're one-time quests, daily quests, and weekly quests. So the prediction market entries will be, one time. The flex your prediction market entries will be daily. There are going to be multiple prediction markets rolled out throughout the season. So right now, I think on the first day we rolled out with about 6. There's going to be some more rolling out today, some more rolling out tomorrow, some more rolling out throughout the week. So people have opportunity to re-enter these markets to get points for entering these new markets one time across the board.
Love it. Are you able to? Can you do it off multiple wallets? Is it possible to link wallets, or does everything have to be in one primary wallet?
Yeah, that's a
And
great question, man. Yeah, so for this Spotlight Simply Built Different, everything is tied to a single wallet with no wallet delegations. We did allow delegations in multiple wallets last season. It got a bit sticky across on the leaderboard. So for this quick 2-week season, it's going to be one single wallet. All the multipliers, all the NFTs that you want or meme coins that you want counted as multipliers should be in that main wallet that you are completing your quest with and participating on Spotlight.
Got it. We'll move some things around today, and new sports betting wallet, Steve. New Apes Predict wallet for me. We'll be double dipping on our parlays. So, and when you see a Caps Clutch Market parlay of the day, I'm probably going to be firing that twice on multiple wallets. But I also saw there's a onboarding. Refer a friend who competes and earns at least 200 stars. I'll drop that link if anyone's not yet signed up for Spotlight. That would be your start. And you talk about like some of the easy low lift quests. It's like, hey, create your account, connect your X, connect your Discord. So if it's if it's you're not there yet, it's easy to get set up and start earning. I guess what I do want to talk prizes and talk some of the leaderboard, but if this happens to be the first time someone's hearing about Spotlight, first time they're hearing about ApeChain, what is there certainly follow the ApeChain Hub account, get your Spotlight account set up. Then what, right? Is like go down, just simply do the quest. Is there anything else you'd like to make sure someone that's just now starting to explore ApeChain after getting their Spotlight account set up, what next? Just do the quest. Anything else you would recommend they make sure they check out?
Yeah, I think the biggest things would be also join the official ApeCoin Discord and official ApeChain Telegram. Those are also linked on the Spotlight platform. I think that allows us to tackle any questions people may have, any issues they may see directly. I would say outside of that, yeah, as you're running through the quest, I would look to join some of our spaces, right? Like we've been going around the circuit, trying to be as active as we can. I believe we'll be on the Grateful Show in a couple hours here, and just looking to be as active as you can in terms of on the timeline, interacting with people, interacting with the market ideas, and yeah, I think outside of that, just don't hesitate to ask any questions you may have as you're aping into the platform. There are things towards the bottom of there, like claim your collections poster, right, from either F1 Alpine, from Cool Kicks. So we're going to try to use Spotlight and mix a bunch of our activations in through here. So if this is the first time you're participating in Spotlight, I would say try to get familiar with the platform. This is going to be something, as Cam mentioned, that is rolled out multiple times, right? This is part 2 of the Spotlight rewards activation. There will be multiple throughout the year. So just stay tuned and don't hesitate to ask questions if you have any.
So let me real quick before we go to SimpleFarmer, I want to get a perspective on the Spotlight overall. Like I know a lot of people participated in the initial Spotlight. There were some social quests. There's a lot of NFT related quests. This is related to and look, home of NFTs, and we love ApeChain for being the home of NFTs, and there are multipliers on there. But this is we're a big fan of Clutch. We're a big fan of SimpleFarmer. We love what he's building there. And one of the things I've noticed lately is like you have like collecting the F1 posters on there, and you have the Cool Kicks on there as a bonus multiplier, and you're working with Clutch Market. Is this a directionally new thought process, or at least at the time, for the time being, trying to highlight some of the businesses building on ApeChain to sort of like almost like ApeChain has this amazing community that is willing to just jump in the weeds and get involved in the NFT community. But now it's almost like there's a next step here where we're seeing businesses building on ApeChain. Is that something you're trying to encourage? And is that something you're focusing on?
100%, man. I think Cam has mentioned this in one of his posts that in the future seasons we definitely want to focus the energy of our entire ecosystem, right? Like whether that's highlighting multiple builders, whether that's highlighting multiple activations that we're doing, whether that's finding interesting ways to reward community. We want to find, we want to use the Spotlight platform as a way to kind of have a mixing pot of all those synergies that we're looking to tackle. So I would say yes, sir. In the future, definitely keep eyes peeled. And someone asked me a great question. I forget which space it was on, but they were like, "Hey, if we're building, if we're a builder, we're doing something interesting on ApeChain. How do we get on Spotlight, right?" And I think that's a great question, and the answer there are a couple things, right? Like if you're building something unique, something special, something that either hasn't been launched on ApeChain before, or something that in general just hasn't been built before, like cross-chain parlay market, um, and you also are one ingrained in the community, making impacts, making contributions to either the community or ApeChain in general, and a mix of adoption and social presence. Those are things that we're going to be keeping an eye out for in terms of like future quote unquote seasons and platforms and dApps that will be included. So hopefully in upcoming seasons it will be not just one prolific builder. It'll be multiple, or it'll be multiple dApps and multiple uh, cultural moments that we want to kind of engage our community with and reward them for doing so.
I did get a quick question about where can you find those multipliers. I can't bull MK.
Oh, yeah,
I don't know why I can't find the comments on the video feed, but it's you go to this like work for your bag section, work for your bags 161 quests, and then hit show quests, and you'll see all the multipliers under there.
Yep, it should be the fourth section there. Thank you.
And I saw SimpleFarmer. I saw you threw your hand up there a little bit ago. We'll go to you next here. I also we would be remiss. I have to give credit. I was trying to see who called it out in the chat to make sure. Oh, Brickadall says we can't. We'd be remiss if we didn't mention that clutch puppies are up 10x from mint. So congratulations. Wasn't that long ago. Big run up. I think all-time high yesterday, maybe, if I'm not mistaken. And love to see it. But feel free to take it wherever you'd like. I saw the hand flap there a little bit ago.
Yeah, just touch on that. It's fantastic because it's showing that with clutch puppies that users are really down for NFTs that are based in heavy utility and revenue generation. So I love to see that, and that adoption on ApeChain has been beautiful. I just wanted to say in regards to Spotlight, just in some of the infra, the point system is actually being kept and set up by Snag. They're the same team that does the point system for OpenSea that you guys have talked about many times. So that's pretty cool, I think. And also just there's been a lot of in the trenches discussion, like internal discussion between people in the ApeChain trenches about like how multipliers are given, where they're given. And what I would like to say is that I'm kind of trying to zoom out and look at this from a outside perspective. And the fact that there is no other chain that's doing this type of experimental incentivization program. Of course, it's like if you give out like massive incentives and massive liquidity to projects that aren't working anyways, they're going to become popular during a thing like Spotlight, and then not go anywhere after. It's like strapping a rocket to a broken car. It's going to go forward, and then it's going to run out of fuel. But I think it's like if we look at Spotlight and these incentivization programs, like putting a turbo on an engine that's already working pretty well, that's where we can really level up in terms of the app usage and adoption. And if you look at Clutch, for example, on the DeFi Llama or the DeFi Llama metrics or our Dune Dash, you can see that our TVL, our user base, and our numbers were actually already on an uptrend, and now we get this massive spike additionally with Spotlight. So that's really great to see. And shout out to the ApeChain team for doing something that's extremely experimental and being really upfront about being willing to come through. And so Spotlight has this cool feature where not only are users accruing points to win these crazy prizes like a Bored Ape, for example, but those users then delegate their points to their respective NFT communities. And then the top NFT communities get a sweep. That's a sweep using, the chain's treasury liquidity, which is insane. This is something that nobody else has tried to do before. And I really respect that. And it creates room for really cool strategies, like what our friend Crypto Frosties is doing. He created a D app that just helps people figure out strategy about what things get the best multipliers. So the Spotlight itself is a product. Spotlight itself is like a mini ecosystem that you can play into in so many ways. And I'm just thinking about, additional integrations with this. I'm really excited for these next 2 weeks and trying to not only bring new users onto ApeChain, but retain those users as we bring them in.
It's a great call out. And yeah, it really, I know, Steve, we've said this many times here on the show that just the market noticeable difference since prior to actual ApeCo being formed, it really, I went right around first of the year, kind of in line with Cam coming over and some changes there and getting a chance to work with NGB and the team, is just like this, actual campaigns, actual working with from builders to commentators like us and tying the whole thing together. Are they going to be perfect? Is it going to make everyone happy? Probably not. I mean, contests, leaderboards, it's hard. I guarantee you they're hearing the feedback. They're taking a lot in and working with builders on every level of the ecosystem. And it's exciting to me to see some of this come to fruition. And like, not that this is the end state, but getting to like Spotlight Season 2 is, I feel, really built with off the back of the community, a lot of feedback from last time. And they like, wait, we heard you on some of the things, the whale games or buy your way to the top. We changed that and really doubling down on not just the NFT component, not just the existing collections there and the existing communities, but really giving a path for new people to enter the ecosystem and connect with more than just community. I'm struggling for words because I don't know as if we've quite seen exactly this yet. And I think it is worth noting and reminding everyone that this ApeChain is post TGE, right? Like they've created this incentive loyalty program that is, as SimpleFarmer just mentioned, kind of look and feel similar to the OpenSea one, doing so without an upcoming TGE. And I don't think we get enough credit for that.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I was going to say this is post TGE. And like, I think that's one of the things that people underestimate or forget about when it comes to things like ApeChain and ApeCoin is that it's standing on its own merit as far as the businesses, the NFTs, the communities that are being built on it versus pre-TGE communities. You have to separate a lot of signal from a lot of noise because like a pre-TGE company or chain or brand or whatever may be the talk of the town. But number one, you have to execute a TGE, which in and of itself is navigating just an absolute, hornet's nest to try to get through. And then two, you actually have to get the people who want to be there to stick around. And I think, I've said, someone interviewed me at the ApeChain Staple event. They had a camera crew and they interviewed and were asking about ApeChain. I just think community is such a powerful strength that still exists. Like Bored Ape Yacht Club has no theoretical airdrops coming through. Like maybe, who knows? But like at the moment, like no theoretical airdrops coming through that we know of. No major, token generation events that you see coming. Yet you look at the floor price, and again, I'm not trying to say floor price is score, but it sits as, still sort of atop the pantheon of sort of, PFP NFTs or right there back and forth with a couple others, but they don't have those sort of like pending financial catalysts. And ApeChain is very much the same way where it's not necessarily a pending financial catalyst. It's, hey, participate in this product, chance to, get involved and potentially get into some raffles, potentially get some great prizes. But at the end of the day, it's post TGE. It is a, it is a functioning real chain. And I don't think there's enough people who recognize the difference when they're trying to compare things there. It's not just, hey, farm this thing. It's a, go on, share some information, participate in these products. Maybe you get some stuff. So I agree with you on that, Cap, as far as that goes. I guess, I know we've hit on Spotlight. Obviously, when we learned that Clutch Markets was the first Spotlight, obviously we were pumped. We do the Clutch Markets daily parlay. Cap ran hot for a minute in the streets. Then I think he got a little cute and started. He's like fuck it, we ball 4 of these, and so got there. But we have that. Obviously, Clutch Markets is worked a little bit with Billy Bets, which we're big fans of as well. And hearing the direction of building on ApeChain is really interesting to me. So I guess with that said, want to throw to Shpend if there's anything maybe we missed spotlight related that you want to get across to the crew who's listening today, and or any even call to action for people who are potentially building on ApeChain and what you're looking for there.
And prizes, I was looking for the other actual sheet. I got a tweet pulled up here that lists the top 10 prizes. Anything you want to expand on or call attention to, feel free.
Yeah, I can go ahead and share the medium right here for you as well if you want to take a quick little look there. But yeah, I mean, I think the first key point here is the little call out at the top, right, where it says it's not included in that tweet there, but in the medium, there's a quick mention that we have plenty of exclusive rewards up for grabs and a chance for winners to press their luck for even bigger prizes at the end of the season. But remember, all choices have consequences, even ones that impact the intern sweep. So a little vague there. I can't spill too much alpha, but just know people will have the opportunity to play around with these prizes here and maybe double up or maybe hit something that's under what they risk there. So very interesting. Would love to share some more details around that as soon as we can. Outside of that, before I get into the top prizes, I do want to touch on the overall prizes for this season. If you rank inside of the top 1,000, you will have a chance to bring home, one on. I'm sorry, you'll via on-chain raffles. You will be able to bring home custom art pieces from some of the well-known ApeChain artists, some of the artists that we work with here on the ApeChain team, as well as there will be over a couple hundred NFTs from the intern's vault sprinkled in there. So, you don't need to be a whale. You don't need to be a top 10 competitor. You have a chance to bring home something this season just by getting in that top 1,000, which if you're a participant, if you're active in, I feel like it's pretty doable to do.
You can probably by connecting yourself, creating your account. I mean, you're going to have to stay somewhat active, but I think just by doing like 4 or 5 things, I was quickly flipped to like top 500. So yeah, it's if you're going to get in there and do it a little bit, you could qualify. Top 1,000 is attainable for anyone listening in.
Yeah, man, and I think just to get into a little bit more of the juiciness, in ranks 1 through 100, there are a pool of 5 gobs, 5 Gs, 5 Minotaurs, 3 token gators, 7 clutch puppies, and a BAYC will be raffled on chain, but for between someone in the ranks 1 through 100. So, that does take
for me. Like I didn't know like top 10 even for me like it feels like a little bit of a reach, but you're telling me if I get into the top 100, I got a 1 in 100 shot at an ape. I'm in. Like I will grind to make sure I stay in the top 100.
Yeah, man.
I like 1% shot at an ape.
Exactly. I mean, it's not, I would say, a super easy feat, but it's definitely not a monumentous task, right? If you are active, if you're aping into the markets, if you're participating, if you're keeping, your eyes peeled on the platform every day, you have a good chance of getting in that top 100. And this season's only 2 weeks, right? The last one was around 6-ish, so it was a bit more of a grind. This one is a bit more of a sprint. So, I think there's some good opportunities for people that are participating to bring home some decent prizes. And for those who really, really lock in, we can get into the top 3 real quick. First place is bringing home a suitcase full of ape and a weekend you won't forget in Las Vegas. Is that around Ape Fest? Is that around CoppersCon? We'll see, right? I know a lot of people are going to be over there, and I know a lot of people have their eyes peeled in hopes of landing there. Second place here is, something again a little bit more vague, but the Spotlight Champions Solid Go bag. This one here I can say has something to do with our partners, and I would say it's something that you can't really win outside of being on ApeChain and through the help of our partners.
Interesting. Not to short any of these prizes. Intern starter pack sounds interesting as well. You mentioned the convention art.
If I can't touch on that, that one I think, first place full of ape in Las Vegas, right? That may be a little, ApeChain centric. The spotlight championship solid gold bag may be a bit ApeChain ape centric, but the intern starter pack, if you are active on crypto Twitter, if you've been in the trenches, this is going to be made up of things that will make your day a lot easier across the board. This is no prize to snark at. I would say, if you are a degen like many of us, if you spend multiple hours a day on your computer or tapped into the online the internet interscape, this right here I think would be would be number one if you aren't a traveler, I would say.
Except for Steve. Steve is he's shooting for 8th place here. This is going to be, it would be very fitting. This is not a bit, like it'd be very fitting if we secure Steve's Roadcaster by way of an 8th place finish in Spotlight Season 2.
We've been talking about it for how long, and now it would be like, hey, just hit 8th place, got my Roadcaster, and I'm all set. So yeah, that would be awesome. But no, great prizes. And again, it's a loyalty system. It's using the chain as they continue to put businesses on. It's featuring in seasons that maybe are a little bit more deliberate as far as what the deliberate as far as what the goals are. And I think it's great. And I appreciate what y'all are doing and appreciate that. I think a lot of it, we talked about it, but I guess like we didn't really ask directly on it. It's like you took the feedback from the original sort of like, first launch of the Spotlight. People forget everything in this space is sort of an early experiment. So you took that perspective and you activated it. So I think it's fair to say y'all are working on it. And look, I guess like last thing I'll ask you, if people have feedback or thoughts on the Spotlight as they continue to go, should they reach out directly to you or what should they do? Because I think like you're obviously been open to iterating. I think ever since Cam and One and yourself have gotten super involved, we've seen a major leg up from ApeChain and how they've done things. So if they continue to have thoughts and feedback, what's the best way to sort of deliver that?
Yeah, man, you could always reach out to me directly on X. Don't hesitate. I would say another great way is via the ApeCoin Discord. You come in there, you can open a support ticket and, share your thoughts. And if you have any other issues or concerns, that's a good place to host it. And also Cam, Cam has said this, on multiple occasions, but, if you have something important, if you have something that you feel like you really need to share, he's always open. So his head of Ape account, don't hesitate to DM him, share there. And anyone else on the team will look to be an open door. Anyone else on the team will be an open door to any types of questions or concerns. I do have one question from the audience I want to touch on if you guys don't mind.
Hit it. Yeah.
So seeing a question on why is there such a heavy emphasis on memes as compared to NFTs. I think it's a great question, right? One thing we do want to touch on is we support all of our builders across ApeChain. NFTs were heavily favored in the previous season of Spotlight, with some having up to 40x's, a total of being 400, 500x around just holding multiple NFTs. And I think the big thing here is looking to shine a light as well on a meme coin ecosystem that maybe hasn't had the opportunity or hasn't had the light shine on them over the past 6-7 months. I think meme coins on ApeChain started off pretty hot around launch. I think we had some run up over to a couple mil, but since then it's kind of tempered off. But the meme coin builders show up every single day. They're out here creating content. They're out creating memes. They're out here onboarding people in real life. So, while it may feel a little too skewed at the moment for some people towards meme coins, the folks that are included in here, have been building on ApeChain, if not since launch, definitely for multiple months. So just wanted to touch on that briefly.
Yeah,
Appreciate you doing that. Go ahead, Steve.
Oh, no, I was going to say, I would encourage people to realize, like, look, and by the way, like, well said, I would encourage people to realize also, like, there is, like, this is the part of the point of the seasons, right? It's like there's going to be different things that are featured in different ways. And, I think it's sort of like any good rewards program tends to mix things up a little bit based on making sure that everybody feels the love. And in this case, look, the NFTs on ApeChain were absolutely ripping when the last Spotlight jumped. It was like you couldn't, a day wouldn't go by when you wouldn't mint something and you wouldn't see a great community, space popping up for it. So of course that made sense in season 1. And that was something that you were doing, or at least in the previous iteration of it. And now in this season, it's like you can feature different things to highlight different builders. And in one hand, you're highlighting somebody who's building a business. The other hand, you're highlighting memes. The other hand, obviously the social component is going to always be a through line. And so I think the thing is, if and once again, I'd say this in that Discord, in the ApeChain Discord, if there are things you want to see featured on this spotlight, if there are things you want to see more prominently, promoted, mention it, because it's a lever that I think we could see pulled in many different ways to help other people shine. So something for I think for people to do there.
Yeah, big fan of the shortened season. I think 2 weeks is kind of the sweet spot, and not like a 1 day sprint or anything, and yet it gives you time to, maybe like sports day is not my thing, or I don't want to, like, okay, like you don't have to do that. You can still participate. You can still rank probably in the top 1,000 without even placing a clutch market bet. And share feedback. What would you like to see next time? And again, I guarantee you that the team may not enact what you want to see, but they're actively listening and soliciting that feedback. So I'm excited. I'm excited for this one. I'm excited to see what they do next. NGB are also getting some love in the abstract chat. Diabolito says NGB is pretty great, does a great job. I agree. There's also been not to pick on Diabolito, because I've heard it from others. Like, I was a little sour about season 1. I've heard some people talk about you mentioned in passing that the raffle would be done on chain. I want to circle back to that. Do you mind expanding on that? Like how that'll take place, or any details you can share on the raffles for this season?
Yeah, man. Shout out to our amazing DevRel Alok. He went and put together a on-chain raffle contract. So this is something where we can basically put in inputs XYZ, like people's wallets, 1 through 100 on Spotlight, 1 through 1,000 wallets on Spotlight, and it will. I believe it is powered by Pith. May be turning into proof of work soon, but proof of play, excuse me. And through there, we'll be able to run these raffles and then post an on-chain transaction of the result of the raffle. So last season, there was an internal raffle system being used, which, some people, of course, want to see more on-chain activity, more on-chain, RNG, XYZ, those types of things. So really glad that we were able to kind of roll that into this coming season, and will be something we'll use for all future rollouts on Spotlight.
Love it.
And shout out to you said that was Don Diablo, correct? Or
No, Diabolito.
Diablito, yes. Thank you so much. Much love.
Big become a big ApeChain enjoyer. I feel was we had a chance to connect a little while back. Came from merge of the plague or the frog community, and I think got active on ApeChain really from launch, and has been in the weeds. Great community member, great supporter, long time friend of the show, and candor, like shares in a respectful way, shares what he doesn't like, shares what he likes. Like, you're going to get usually the pretty straight shooter when it comes from Diabolito.
Yeah, but it's not just a bull post when Diabolito gives a positive piece of feedback. Yes. Diabolito means it, which I think we can all appreciate.
Says prizes are cool. Distribution of them looks way more organized this season. Nice to see. So, congrats, well done. Getting good feedback from the listeners today. Anything we haven't hit on as regarding ApeChain season 2, or anything? I do see we've went somehow an hour and 54 minutes and have not yet mentioned our ApeFest tickets or Complex Con. So, but before we go to all things ApeFest. Anything Spotlight we haven't hit on yet? We'll start with NGB, and then we'll go back to SimpleFarmer.
Yeah, man. I think one thing to keep in mind is, similar to last season, won't be so much of the whiplash, but this season can see changes throughout, right? So maybe there's a change on the multipliers. Maybe there are different types of quests added. I would say keep your eyes peeled, stay tuned, and know that we're listening. And yeah, I think that would be it for mine.
Awesome. SimpleFarmer, anything we didn't hit on clutch markets as it relates to the Spotlight Season
2? So I think this is along the lines. I think in a lot of ways, layer 3 chains like ApeChain are going to become long-term, like niche, super powerful at a really specific thing. So you're going to see, for example, like Robinhood Chain do tokenized stocks super, super well. And I think with ApeChain, from what I've seen and what I've studied long term, I think ApeChain is the home of NFTs. The communities that I actually see working super hard are these NFT communities, and I can see ApeChain actually one day surpassing the volume and like the floor prices of a lot of NFT collections on mainnet. Now, I'm not talking about in 6 months. I'm talking about years from now. And I believe that this is actually possible, especially with the new direction of leadership. I think Cam is exceptionally decisive and a fantastic leader as the head of Ape, and the team is absolutely kicking ass and taking names. So we got a lot of great stuff going on ApeChain. If you don't have exposure to any NFTs on ApeChain, you can come through. They have extremely low floors, and there's a lot of folks doing a lot of cool stuff. And in the meantime, you can join in on Spotlight and win some of these fantastic prizes. Like I said, huge fan of this proprietary incentivization model.
That's awesome. Yeah. Well said. Well, look, thanks to both of you for joining us this morning. Appreciate you spending so much time with us and kind of giving the download on this. Obviously, you know, Cap and I are big fans of you both and everything you're building, and excited to participate in Spotlight and kind of see more people getting in on the ApeChain action with the opportunity there. So thanks for coming through today, and I'm sure we'll definitely have you all on again soon.
100%, man. Thank you for having us.
Thank you both. Really appreciate your time and truly mean it. Not just saying this to blow smoke because you're on the stage with us. I don't even know like how to properly explain the noticeable difference. We not to keep rehashing it or reharping it on it, but just it's been a pleasure working with you and the team over there, and it's light years ahead of where things were in the beginning. It's not a knock on anyone. It's just like this is how. And this isn't just like chain related. Like we're fortunate we've had a chance to work with many sponsors through the years, and intentful is the word I keep coming back to, Steve. It seems like everything they're doing now is with intent. It's not just throwing stuff at the wall and seeing what sticks. It's not just, hey, do this for us and then never check back in with us. It's like, I feel like we have an actual account manager, and we haven't felt like, and this again, not knocking anyone else. A lot of them are founders and they're busy, and it's not like they're not responsive. It's just like, I can't even really put it into words, but I know you know what I'm saying. I know you know what I'm trying to get across.
Yeah, it's great to have somebody who knows kind of like who's actually attentive and cares and is saying, hey, like, this is the thing we're highlighting. If you guys can help us work on this, it'd be awesome. And, you know, it's not just sort of like go off to your own devices, then it's kind of quiet. I mean, the amount of times that we've sent like data and things like that to clients and it's just been like thumbs up, like that's great. I'm glad they're happy, but I like that they're actively working to continue to make the chain work and make the chain continue to grow. And you can see it. And I mean, in conclusion, ApeChain on top.
ApeChain on top. Thank you guys so much for the love. And man, it's truly, you know, a team effort. You know, I may be out, you know, a bit more face forward facing, but, you know, across the board, we have amazing content people. We have amazing DevRel. We have, you know, amazing leadership. And that kind of, you know, funds everything up and helps us get to where we need to get to. So hell yeah, ApeChain on top.
Love to hear it. Cool. Well, thanks for joining us. Cap, I know we're at about time here. I guess anything else like top of mind for you?
Or ApeFest rather. Pumped. Did get my ticket yesterday. Got my and not to put you on the spot, and you may not even know this, NGB, but since you're still with us, I did see some people that haven't got their Complex Con Premier Pass notification or that email yet. I'm pending, or are you unaware?
Yeah, so what I've seen is maybe you didn't have your notifications on the Token Proof app. So if you have not noticed your Complex Con Premier ticket, please take a look in the actual Token Proof app. And if you look in your inbox, there should be an update there. If you do not have an update, feel free to reach out to Chad. Feel free to reach out to myself or anyone on the BAYC team specifically, and they can look to get you squared away there.
Awesome. Yeah, just to clarify, it is not like your ApeFest ticket shows up in the tickets or in your wallet section of Token Proof. You got to click through the inbox tab to see, and you should have an email in there that says, congrats, you've secured your complimentary Ape Premier ticket to ComplexCon. Plus ones will be able to purchase discounted tickets. And again, that's a $250 general admission ticket. This Ape Premier Pass, we get to skip the line. And like, I'm genuinely excited. I've never been to a ComplexCon. I've been to a lot of festivals, some both art and music ones, and real utility there. Love to see it. And I think there's going to be some people said, it's not VIP. I think this is better than VIP. I think VIP, you get a lot of pretentious, you know, people with their nose in the air that just think they're better than everyone else around them. You're going to see apes rolling 30, 40, 50 deep and just bypassing the entire line to get into a festival. People are going to be asking, what is this crew doing? Like, how do I get a part of that? Like, I'm excited to hit ComplexCon, and ApeFest is mean, hard for it not to have a good time in Vegas. I saw there's some feedback, some critique on the time of the, only 4 hours this year. Like I am. I couldn't imagine, like, I'd probably not cost effective to rent out a facility for an entire day in Vegas. At prime time, 4 hours, I think it's ample. And I am 100% certain there will be far more activities to do in Vegas than just the 4 hours. Like from our friends at the Creator House, Asif and Jason and everyone else, like the events will be popping off. There's already some that are already well underway from 8 games and more. And also some questions, some back and forth on. It was actually Leon. We had a good dialogue back and forth. He couldn't understand why they spun off from, the other flagpole crypto conference events. And I said, I think as a, member since Mint and, I've attended 3 Ape Fest. Unfortunately, I couldn't make it last year. I think it's the best thing they did was for Ape Fest was to distance themselves from conferences like NFT NYC. Like it is. And I like, hey, come, I'm sure we can find you a +1 if you want to check it out. But it's like this, it makes a far better. It is, first of all, it's an exclusive club, but more so, it's like they don't need to attempt to drift off of a B tier conference like NFT NYC. Like there's enough people attend on that want to just be here for this, and it's not just the ape community. I think having Ape Fest as a one-off standalone event, it actually leads to a lot more people not in the club able to come check out Ape Fest and enjoy the event. And people like, I keep thinking of like Benjamin White, who attended Lisbon last year. It was his first time at Ape Fest, and he immediately came as a +1 and immediately bought it was a mutant and then immediately bought an ape. It was like, because the experience he had. And when you're a side event at a major conference, inevitably, a lot of the people that aren't in the club, they're going to have other things going on. They're going to be, some of them make it, sure. But in my experience, especially at Hong Kong, I interacted with far more non-apes than I did previously. And almost every major NFT brand anyways had a representative there, whether they spoke at the Clubhouse event or they were just at the events. Like I am a big fan of it not being, and I hope they never go back to NFT NYC or become a side event. They don't need to. And I think this just leads to much more. You're not as rushed. You're not trying to fit everything in, and you can really focus on the club. And I think it actually leads to more non-club members enjoying Ape Fest.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, look, like you don't, if you fish from the same pond, you're going to catch the same fish. And so it's like them, going to Complex Con to me is a very logical thing, because it's like, hey, there's a partnership there clearly with Complex, which I think is actually, an underrated, super big thing that's important, right? Number one. And number two, like, yeah, man, I think like if you're trying to grow a brand, growing a brand through not going to new things is not like, there's a reason why vendors show up to various like festivals. There's a reason why businesses show up to various conferences. Like somebody who's trying to do a payment system, probably isn't just going to go to like, oh, it's a crypto payment system, let's just go to crypto things. They're probably going to go to financial events.
Bingo.
So if you're building a cultural chain that has Fresh Kicks on it, that has Jeff Staple on it, it's like you're probably going to want to go to something like Complex Con versus NFT NYC, which is like, same folks.
Exactly.
I told you this.
Everyone at NFT NYC, they already know who Bored Apes are. They're like, they've already not joined the club. It's like undeniable. You couldn't convince me that there's going to be far more people at Complex Con that have even been introduced to this space yet than there will be at NFT NYC, right? It's like, you want to talk about onboarding people and activations where you can actually introduce people to your brand. That's just not happening in NFT NYC. It happened in 2021. We're way past that now. And it's just like why, like I saw Azuki they partnered with Crunchyroll at some anime event. Like that's not my world. I know nothing about it. That seems like a pretty big deal. And that seems a lot more intelligent for Azuki to do than throw a side event at NFT NYC. And it's not that they don't go to these things. Like there was great events at Paris. There was good events at, I didn't go to New York this year, but like the events I attended at Paris it wasn't Ape Fest, but they were still there. They still had a presence, and it was, it was enjoyable.
I mean, ApeChain did something with Jeff Staple. It's just a matter of like a flagship event. And I think a flagship event tying into something else, like you should be doing other things.
Yes.
Pudgy Penguins goes to toy events and other things around the world and licensing expos. ApeChain should be playing around with the complex cons of the world if that's the world that they're entering and potentially partnering with. I think these things are a no-brainer to me.
The official blockchain partner of ComplexCon seems a hell of a lot more powerful than the official blockchain partner of NFT NYC. Like they would have literally just been burning their money on fire to sponsor, to partner with NFT NYC for that. Like no one there cares. Like it's not going to, like, maybe I shouldn't say no one. I shouldn't speak in absolutes.
I mean, there's partnership opportunities for sure there, and that's why they were there. But like, as far as like separating like flagship or major events, it's like, I just think like we're like just being more insular isn't solving the problems for anybody here. It's if you want to grow and you want to biz dev at ComplexCon, there's going to be a ton of businesses that might say, wow, this is a really cool, like what PB McTweets came on our stage one time and said, yeah, we went to a licensing expo, which is like B2B. And we had people coming up to us saying like, what's going on? Well, who are these people? Or did you pay them to be here? And they're like, no, these are our fans that said that they wanted to show up. So we figured out a way for them to get in and figured out a value add for them. And they're like, but why? It's a licensing expo. It's like, because they love us and want to be here. Like, to your point that you made earlier, 50 Apes rolling and cutting the line at ComplexCon, then going in and like people being like, what's that? And, partnering, like that's an appeal to brands. Like the community is the selling point. And so I think that those points are important. So Cap, that's it tomorrow.
I got one more thing. I need a second here to pull this up. It's very timely, very fitting. And both ApeChain and our guy SimpleFarmer just got a nice shout out from the Arbitrum team here. And I got a chart that is prediction markets are going parabolics. Look at this. Spotlight season 2. There you go. Love to see it. And it's not just, I mean, obviously it was trending nicely before this, but absolutely love to see it. And I'm a big fan. I'm rooting. I want to see, I'm also following SimpleFarmer back. I don't know why it says that. There we go. Yeah, just wanted to give that love. Numbers look good. And this is more of this, right? Like I said, I'm excited about season 2. I'd love to see them double down and support more builders doing unique stuff, novel things that are being built on an ApeChain. That's not just art or vibes. Nothing wrong with that. I just like there's so much more that to SimpleFarmer's point that these layer 3s, the layer 2s are unlocking in terms of what you can do with the tech. And we've got awesome builders doing exactly that. So I'd love to see the spotlight on these builders, pun intended. And yeah, I'm gonna be get my I'm not a big farmer, but this is one I'm going to grind. I'm not just saying that I want to be in the top 100. So may have to turn it into a bit to see if I can, once I break in the top 100, if I can hold it.
Yeah. See if you can get there. Look, awesome day. I don't think we have a guest part for tomorrow. So I think we can probably go deeper on some of the conversations we were talking about today about Ethereum. I actually have a tweet that I was going to toss out today related to that.
Do you think, I mean, quick thoughts on pick and shovel analogy? Do you think that holds for ETH?
I mean, I think all the analogies hold for ETH. I think we just haven't seen people learning about it yet.
It's just like Bitcoin as digital gold just works. Like it made sense, and I think part of why it's such a good narrative is it's like the consensus narrative. Like memes matter, narratives matter, and dude, I was sold on ETH as ultrasound money being the leading narrative, and in hindsight, I was just like that was such a dumb. Like people, what does that even mean? It's like it's been very. I don't think they work. Like digital oil works, picks and shovels work. I think a consensus narrative would be helpful for ETH.
Yeah, maybe. I think it's just, I think it's going to take care of itself. Like I've been taking your advice and I've staked more ETH on my platform. By the way, let me know if my internet's getting funky. I'm getting rid of I mentioned I'm going to probably switch internets. The box that controls mine is right by the street. I am throwing away an old grill today, so it's possible either the garbage people or a garbage picker is going to give it a try outside. And so if they are, it's right next to the box, and I realized I have it a little too close to the box. So anybody moving it, kicking that thing, maybe throwing my internet off, like a fucking squirrel taking a piss could throw off my internet at this point. That's why I need to change anyway. But like, look, a couple things to talk about tomorrow. I think the ETH conversation, that's something I want to talk a little bit deeper about. The like where you're putting your money in these markets. Like, I think to me, it's like extreme alts I believe in, like the Pangus and the, the Rex of the world on one side of the barbell, and then probably just sort of Bitcoin, ETH, Sol on the other end. Like I'm probably dumping my Chainlink, Avalanche, Polkadot, stuff like that, just kind of moving out of those worlds.
I've never thought of myself as a masochist. Am I even saying the word correctly?
Masochist.
Masochist. I had the conscious thought this morning walking Duke because I'm actually thinking about buying ETH again, and I'm like, is there something wrong with me? I genuinely think it outperforms most of the other majors the rest of the cycle. I feel it in my bones, man. It's heating up. Like the fundamentals make sense. It's whether you want to call it the pick and shovels for crypto or something else. Like it's where people are building stuff. And I know there's other chains. I know, but it's like I don't know. This to me, I'm so convicted that you fast forward 10 years and it's not just going to be Robinhood and their layer 2 or layer 3. It's like this is where people are going to be building on ETH or on a layer 2 or on a layer 3. And sooner or later, value has to accrue back to the native token. At least that's what I'm telling myself. And I went from just being comfy in my ETH bags and not selling anything, which I'm grateful I didn't capitulate. Yeah, I had the thoughts this morning, like, I don't know. I'm probably just going to go open up a long today and close my eyes.
I mean, honestly, like, because I'm not a leverage guy, I've been doing just a simple stake it on Coinbase. Just toss it over, throw it in the staked move Coinbase, make it a pain in the ass to access. And I've been doing that a little bit more lately. And just kind of trying to do that because I don't even think it's that complex. I actually think it's that deep. I think you just see like left curve smooth brain take that people got, like I said it before, the tweet didn't do particularly well. It got a little bit nerfed, but like, I don't know, man. Like, what was the first thing we all did when we discovered crypto? We bought Bitcoin. What was the second thing we did when we all discovered crypto? We bought ETH. We bought Litecoin. We bought whatever Coinbase had available. What are people and institutions going to do after they buy Bitcoin? They're probably going to go to ETH. It is the number 2 player in town, and it's not like it's going away. It's not like it's not being used by institutions. It's not like it's not being used by brands and companies. And it's not like layer 2s aren't existing. Like, this is a thing. And like people can make the case they can make the case against it all they want with like the fee structure or whatever they want. There's a left curve smooth brain case to be made about people are just going to buy it and start creating strategic reserves or start stockpiling it because they think that it's a asset that they want to own. And the narrative is just going to be driven there. Like there's just, that could just exist. So I don't know. Like, I think there comes a point when ETH may be overpriced. I don't think we're there. And I think that what's going to be really fascinating, a whole nother discussion for another day, is to figure out how Wall Street values cryptocurrencies, because things like price to earnings ratio and, forward thinking and all this different guidance, we just don't have that for crypto yet. And when they do it,
right? Like no one talks about like TVL or like I haven't seen anyways. They just talk about price. No one talks about like the layer 2s or the number of developers. Like there's a lot of metrics. There's a lot of KPIs. Mainstream media just talks about inflows and outflows as far as I've seen. Maybe I've missed it, but like if you're my mom who holds Bitcoin, ETH, and XRP, and I've had conversations with her, but I doubt she can tell you what makes ETH different. It's very different.
It's very different. And so that's where I think that's to me where I think the magic and the money happens. And I think that it's potentially a lot more simple than we all make it out to be in this space. Like we get so deep in the weeds, and Bitcoin is the simplest thing because it's, a hard cap and all that good stuff. I just think ETH is probably as simple as go, stake, buy. It's the next thing after Bitcoin. Like, I don't think people necessarily look for Litecoin because it's a copy of sort of a different version of Bitcoin. I don't think they look for Dogecoin because it's a meme. Like, I think the next logical place people go is probably ETH. And as long as we continue to see, Tom Lee and all these other people talking about it on financial shows, like how long before the traditional financial shows say Bitcoin feels a little hot here to me. It's been running, but I'll tell you what, ETH was $4,000 in the market cap and whatever, and it was $4,000 in December, and it's only $3,000 now, and this market feels like it's probably got some room to, like, how long before we start hearing people say that? Probably another 6-7 months, but like, I don't think it's as far off as people think. And it's like, at that point, like, maybe early next year I trim some bags. I don't know. But like, I think I think there's some narratives for this thing that haven't even taken off yet. And so we'll talk about it more tomorrow, but I think there is some thoughts, and I am debating just, I know it may be dumb, but I'm debating taking any sort of alt I have and thinking of the majors of Bitcoin, ETH, and Solana, and just being pretty, because I think Solana's probably next up after that for a lot of people. So I think even though Solana has, I think, a way worse story than ETH, I think that's where I think I'm going to take some of the stuff I have. I'm in the middle of unstaking some stuff on Coinbase that I have. It's just like random things I own, and probably rolling that in that direction. So we'll talk more about that tomorrow, and hit on some of the other things we maybe didn't get a chance to hit on today.
Last flyover real quick, because we talked about it yesterday and we haven't mentioned it yet. The Project X launch. This is Lambo lands on Hyper EVM. It's just another DEX being hyped up. This is I'm not knocking it. It is a Uni V3 fork, and instead of rev share, they're doing points. So I was asking yesterday, why do we need another DEX on Hyperliquid? And here one is enough. Maybe a couple more aggregators. Would wish some of these same marketing giga-brains would apply their talents to consumer front-end products on top of our boundless infra. I do agree with that one. I'll probably play around on Project X a little bit, but we got enough infra, I think.
I agree.
Yeah.
It's like I don't know, like I'll hold my thoughts. I get, cool. People are excited. They're supporting their friends and their projects. I don't know. At some point it's like, I don't know. I'll hold my thoughts on that one. It's just, I think there's opportunity to build so many cool things, and we're just rinsing and repeating.
A lot of the cool builders, a lot of talented builders, they chase what's hot. They chase what's like almost as you're going to get attention, going to get short-term sellout or short-term money, right? It's like, what's the easiest path to generating profits or revenue? And sometimes that's just,
let's get another meme coin launcher, yay! Like I just
copy pasta something and put some novel mechanics or twist to it, and maybe we win. And if we don't, we're still going to make money in the short term. Versus what problem can I solve that hasn't been solved yet? What can I bring on chain that would be better than its off-chain counterpart? And unfortunately, a lot of those things never make it out of the starting gates because they don't get the attention, they don't get the hype, and it's tough, man. It's a tough balance. So I'm not knocking anyone that's doing their thing and getting paid when something's hot. It's just I would love to see some of the talent focus more on new stuff, whether it's easier consumer UX, whether it's bringing prediction markets on chain for parlays like SimpleFarmer has here with Clutch Markets. By the way, today I will get a parlay out, but we're gonna go off MLB because it's I don't know. Maybe should I do All-Star Game? It would be player props. What do you think, Steve? What should I do for today's Clutch Market parlay of the game?
I mean, I think I don't know. All-Star Game's like iffy, but also really fun because like then you can watch the All-Star Game and get excited about it. But it's also like All-Star Games and All-Star Games, so you could go off script a little bit if you wanted to and get cute with like some sort
maybe
of
maybe I'll do that. I'll keep it with baseball today, and we'll do like here's just like what you the options are like. You can choose the winning team, right? And then home runs. Do they have 1.5 is really juiced up? Most are like, do they hit a home run or not? So if you want to pick like your home run callers, I'll do this. I'll do.
Do they have like rugby on there? Could you bet on like the North Queensland Cowboys or the Cronulla Sharks or something, and kind of throw a little parlay in there for fun season? Yeah. South Sydney Rabbitohs. Like you get cute with it on it with like a rugby parlay or something like that, and see if Billy or anybody has interest in that, or just throw caution to the wind and just pick like one favorite, one dog, and just be like, fuck it. Like that could be fun. Just do.
I know nothing about rugby, but
yeah, there's some fun. Rugby has fun names. Like I say it because like we have weird names too in American sports comparatively. It's not anything super new, but there's like the Sharks and the Cowboys and the Rabbitohs, and so you could probably do something like that and just pick a team, and then if you win, fan for life. So there's that.
Right.
Yeah. So I don't know.
We are going to see. I'll tell you this. We're going to see some pretty fun screenshots of a feeling, because whereas like I'm like I think it's like a 4 or 5 game parlay is pretty wild and pretty crazy and not expecting to hit. We're going to see some like parlays that are paying out like 90x, 1000x. Like you're going to see some fun stuff during this spotlight season, and most are not going to hit, but man, when a few of them do, it should do some numbers on the timeline, because will lead to some fun screenshots.
Yeah, excited for that. Look, that said, let's let everyone sail off into their day. Actually have some people coming to do a little bit of work here in the next couple of hours, or actually probably 20 minutes, half hour or so. Appreciate everyone who came through this morning. Good conversation across the board. Definitely excited. Love the impromptu loyalty conversation, the pushback, the discussion, and looking forward to having more discussions like that. We'll let everybody sail off in their day. Thanks to everyone who came through this morning. We will talk to everybody bright and early tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. Eastern time. Have a wonderful, wonderful day, everybody.
Thanks for tuning into Coffee with Captain, powered by ApeCoin. We hope you enjoyed the show, and remember, nothing we discussed today is financial advice. Until next time, keep exploring, stay curious, and we'll see you soon. Have a great day.
Welcome to the future.